Chapter 2248. 12 Rulers of the Starry Sky. Rulers of the 5 elements starry sky, devouring starry sky, lightning starry sky, space starry sky, time starry sky, destruction starry sky, reincarnation starry sky, slaughter starry sky, clairvoyant starry sky, sword will starry sky, indestructible tyrant body starry sky, and darkness starry sky. Longao, the ruler of the 5 elements starry sky, wasn't present. Darkness starry sky was no longer present, having been destroyed by Master God Diviner. The remaining rulers of the starry sky were all present. Xiling, Longming, Yizhi Mai, and Xian Tong were all present as well. In other words, the 10 most powerful people in the starry sky had all gathered at the Crystal Palace in the Outer Sea. Longao understood that this gathering had been arranged by Master God Diviner. Otherwise, these lofty rulers of the starry sky wouldn't have appeared at the same time. The blood demon was furious, because he knew what had happened. Cough, cough, cough. Master God Diviner coughed. He looked at the crowd and said, "You came to me one after another to ask why I couldn't refine the chaos steelies. I won't answer you one by one. I'll wait for all of you to come, and then I'll answer you all at once." No one was surprised in the slightest. Longao sat off to the side, not saying a word. Under these circumstances, he couldn't get a word in edgewise. Each of them was a lofty ruler of the starry sky. Any one of them could cause the entire starry sky to tremble with a stomp of their feet. Seeing that no one was speaking, Master God Diviner continued, "I can now clearly tell you that I didn't lie to you. If you don't believe me, you can choose to leave." It was mandatory, because Master God Diviner was now the strongest person in the starry sky. Under these circumstances, who would dare oppose him? They could only be angry, but not dare say anything. Seemingly satisfied with their attitude, Master God Diviner laughed. "You can't refine the chaos steelies this time. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a difference in compatibility between you and your respective chaos steelies. After all, you've already reincarnated." Everyone nodded in agreement. That was the only reason they could come up with. It was very depressing. Master God Diviner's words, they'd chosen to die and reincarnate. But now, they couldn't even refine the chaos steelies. It was so depressing. But what they couldn't figure out was how Master God Diviner was able to refine his primal chaos tablet. One reason. Unless the godly mathematician hadn't perished and hadn't entered the cycle of reincarnation. Thinking of this, everyone despised Master Godly Mathematician to the extreme. Even so, no one dared to say a word. "Clairvoyant, what should we do now?" No one wanted to pursue the past. Even if he wanted to pursue the matter, he would have to see if it was appropriate. In any case, Master God Diviner was now the strongest of them all. Everyone knew that even if Master God Diviner couldn't truly destroy them, all he had to do was seal them. It's simple. Everyone pricked up their ears, wanting to hear more about the oracle. Given the current situation, he had to refine the primal chaos stone tablet first before anything else. "Please speak. Refine as much as you can. Break through to the starry sky immortal realm first. When the time comes, I'll help everyone refine it." What did that mean? Everyone was completely confused. Wasn't Master Godly Mathematician telling everyone that he could help them refine the primal chaos stone tablet, but not now? He wanted them to wait. Just like that. Everyone's fate was in Master Godly Mathematician's hands. When the time came, Master Godly Mathematician would do as he said. No one dared to say a word. "Master Godly Mathematician, why aren't you helping me refine the primal chaos stone tablet now?" It's simple. Because I'm not ready. Alright, don't ask anything else. I won't tell you. If you're not convinced, you can refine it yourself. Don't come looking for me in the future. If it was before, would Master Godly Mathematician dare to do this? But now, no one dared to say a word. Everyone stood up and chose to leave one by one. So what if they weren't convinced? Master Godly Mathematician's meaning was clear. If they weren't convinced, they could fight back or leave. But no one dared to say a word. This was strength. After everyone left, Master Godly Mathematician said, "Longao, Are you curious why they can't refine their primal chaos stone tablets? Nodding his head, Longao said, I am indeed very curious. According to normal circumstances, they have already refined the primal chaos tablet once before. Even if the difficulty of refining the second time is higher, it is impossible for them to have no chance at all. It had to be master godly mathematicians doing. There was no doubt about it. Longao couldn't figure out why master godly mathematician would tell him. Was his status higher than the other rulers of the universe? That was utter nonsense. Longao knew his own status better than anyone else. Compared to the other rulers of the universe, he was nothing. Because of this, he couldn't figure it out. It seems you've guessed it, master godly mathematician said. You're right. I did something to the primal chaos stone tablets. Back when I was the first to awaken my nascent divinity, I took all of the other tablets. Do you know why I did that? Longao nodded. How could he possibly know what master godly mathematician was thinking? But what he couldn't figure out was why master godly mathematician didn't seal the other rulers of the universe. That way, he would be able to dominate the universe. That was something that everyone would want. Furthermore, Longao couldn't figure out why master godly mathematician had done something to the other primal chaos stone tablets. Could it be that everything that had happened years ago had been a trap set up by master godly mathematician to harm the other rulers of the universe? Longao, master godly mathematician said, I'll explain everything to you in a bit. But right now, all I can tell you is that if I succeed, it won't just be me. Everyone else, including you, will benefit. Understand? What did that have to do with him? Yes. Of course, Longao didn't say anything else. After all, he couldn't afford to have a falling out with master godly mathematician. Not even the other rulers of the universe would dare to provoke master godly mathematician. After all, master godly mathematician was the most powerful person in the universe. Longao didn't linger. Instead, he rose to his feet and left. Master godly mathematician was the only one left in the Crystal Palace. It's not time yet, master godly mathematician said with a deep sigh. Chapter 2249. All the rulers of the starry sky had left. Only Xiling remained. Xiling had been waiting for Longao the entire time. In the void of the 9 heavens. Xiling, you were waiting for me? Yes. Let's leave the Tianwu plain first. All right. Longao knew what Xiling was afraid of. The Tianwu plain was the master god diviner's territory. It was better to be safe than sorry. Who knew if the master god diviner could hear them? The two of them left the Tianwu continent and casually found a plane to stop in. Where's Bai Ling? Longao missed Bai Ling very much. As soon as they stopped, he asked. Bai Ling is recovering. You don't need to worry. Longao, I just realized that the master god diviner treats you very well. Why did you appear in the Crystal Palace in the Outer Sea? Longao didn't hesitate in the slightest. He roughly explained what had happened. Longao trusted Xiling very much. Although Xiling wasn't his confidant, he definitely wouldn't give her back to him. That was something he was incomparably certain of. Longao, do you feel that something is wrong? Yes. The master god diviner has already made it clear that he tricked you. Furthermore, he has already destroyed the Dark Ruler. Ah! Hearing this, Violet Spirit was completely stunned. Xiling knew that Longao wouldn't lie to her. Could it be that the master god diviner had really destroyed the Dark Ruler? What's going on? Longao also didn't hide anything. He told her everything that had happened. The more she listened, the graver her expression became. Xiling hadn't expected the master god diviner to be able to destroy a starry sky ruler. If Longao hadn't told her, she wouldn't have believed it. Even if the 12 starry sky rulers weren't truly immortal, they couldn't die so easily. Even if they were on the same level, it would be very difficult for them to destroy another starry sky ruler. How had the master god diviner done it? She couldn't figure it out. He simply couldn't figure it out. Xiling's face looked grim. If Wizard Clairvoyant could destroy Dark Galaxy Leader, then he could destroy other galaxy leaders as well. If that was the case, then Master Clairvoyant was a little too terrifying. Longao, there are two possibilities. The first is that the Clairvoyant can really destroy the star race. The second is that the Clairvoyant is using a trick. Are you saying that the Dark Starry Sky Dominator didn't die? Yes. Xiling thought for a moment and continued, the 12 of us are protected by the Chaos Stone Tablet. It is impossible for us to die unless the Chaos Stone Tablet chooses to leave on its own. Only then can it be destroyed. Longao had also suspected this. That said, he had personally witnessed Master God Diviner destroy the Dark Starry Sky. It was too strange. Let's not worry about that for now. Master God Diviner is in control of our primal chaos tablets. If we don't deal with this quickly, we'll all become puppets of Master God Diviner. So serious. Thinking about it, he felt relieved. If Master God Diviner could control the other Chaos Steelies, then controlling the other rulers of space would be a simple matter. It was indeed frightening. Even now, Longao still couldn't figure out how Master God Diviner had done it. Xiling, how can I help you? Nothing could happen to Xiling. Not to mention his relationship with Bai Ling, just his relationship with Xiling meant that nothing could happen to Xiling. Longao had already decided that even if he had to fall out with Master God Diviner in the future, he would still help Xiling. How could Xiling not understand Longao's intentions? She was right. Anyone else would have chosen to flee in the face of such a powerful Master God Diviner. Who would dare fight the Starry Sky Dominator? Almost no one would dare. However, Violet Spirit was certain that Longao would do the same. She knew Longao too well. Longao was fearless. Not to mention fighting against a godly mathematician, even if he had to fight against all of the Starry Sky rulers, Longao would do the same if he had no other choice. Xiling, Yiji Mai, and Long Ming's situation, I'm sure you already know. I'm not sure whether they'll be friends or foes in the future, but Xian Tong and I are on good terms. Longao was indeed depressed about this. He'd rather they weren't rulers of space. That way, things wouldn't have gotten to this point. But since they were rulers of space, there was nothing he could do. Even if they met on the battlefield in the future, there was nothing he could do. Whether it was Yiji Mai or Long Ming, their attitudes had undergone a 180-degree change. Longao was depressed. Why didn't anyone else become rulers of space? Why did they choose these two? He was really unlucky. Xiling knew what Longao was thinking. She sighed deeply and said, Longao, I'm really curious. Why do all the rulers of space surround you? And why does the Master God Diviner treat you like this? It seems that your identity is not simple. Or perhaps the Master God Diviner has already calculated something. You might be a variable. Longao didn't say anything. He had already guessed that if he wasn't a variable, the Master God Diviner wouldn't treat him like this. Besides, Yiji Mai, Xian Tong, Long Ming, Long Mie, and the other rulers of space were all around him. If it was only one or two, it might be a coincidence. But if all the rulers of space were like this, then it couldn't be a coincidence. It seems that I'll be in big trouble in the future. Yes, you have to improve your strength as soon as possible. Remember, before you're fully confident, don't make an enemy of the Master God Diviner. Otherwise, Xiling didn't finish speaking, but the meaning was clear. The Master God Diviner was no longer the same as before. Unless Xiling could completely refine the Chaos Stone Tablet and become a ruler of space, no one would be his match. Longao, of course, knew what Xiling was worried about. He nodded and said, Xiling, there's one more thing. The ruler of the 5 elements Starry Sky has fallen. I've given the 5 elements Chaos Stone Tablet to Long Qiong to devour. If nothing unexpected happens, Long Qiong will become the new ruler of space. Xiling sighed deeply. If the ruler of the Dark Starry Sky had really fallen, then what happened in the past would have caused the deaths of 2 rulers of the Starry Sky. He would be lying if he said he wasn't worried. Xiling had always thought that even if he wasn't immortal, he would never die. But with the deaths of 2 rulers of the Starry Sky, he gradually realized that things weren't as simple as he thought. Especially in a situation like this, it was getting more and more troublesome. No one knew what the Master God Diviner meant. At that moment, Xiling, Can you take out the Chaos Stone tablet in your body and let me have a look? If anyone else dared to do this, they would have been killed by Jianling. But since Longao said so, Xiling didn't say anything. Chapter 2250. Xiling didn't know what Longao was going to do. He released the Chaos Stone tablets in his body. 12 Chaos Stone tablets. 5 Elements Primal Chaos Tablet, Devour Primal Chaos Tablet, Lightning Primal Chaos Tablet, Space Primal Chaos Tablet, Time Primal Chaos Tablet, Destruction Primal Chaos Tablet, Reincarnation Primal Chaos Tablet, Slaughter Primal Chaos Tablet, Divine Divination Primal Chaos Tablet, Sword Intent Primal Chaos Tablet, Immortal Tyrant Body Primal Chaos Tablet, Darkness Primal Chaos Tablet. Xiling's Chaos Stone Tablet was one of the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets. Sword Intent Chaos Stone Tablet. Peak of Sword Dao. A black Chaos Stone Tablet. Longao looked at the Chaos Stone Tablet floating in front of him with a solemn expression. The Chaos Stone Tablet on the front was emitting waves of sword chi. It was very terrifying. Peak of Sword Dao. It was hard to imagine how powerful the Chaos Stone Tablet was. Longao, can you sense anything? Longao didn't say anything. Seeing Longao's solemn expression, Xiling didn't continue asking. Longao wanted to see how the divine mathematician did it. He didn't have much hope. At this moment, Longao's expression changed. Longao, what's wrong? Follow me. Before Xiling could react, Longao had already pulled Xiling and disappeared without a trace. Just as the two of them left, the divine mathematician's figure suddenly appeared. He seemed to be very surprised because the divine mathematician never thought that the two of them would suddenly leave. Even he couldn't sense their auras and where they went. The divine mathematician's expression was very ugly. Should I kill him or not? Until now, the divine mathematician couldn't make up his mind because his intuition told him that if he really killed Longao, it was very likely that this plan would fail. He had prepared for countless years for this moment. No matter what, he couldn't choose to give up. I can't give up. After thinking about it. In the end, Master God Diviner decided not to make a move. In fact, Master Clairvoyant couldn't calculate Longao's fate. But based on what had happened to Longao, Master Clairvoyant was sure that Longao was a variable. Within the Primal Chaos Palace. Longao, what is this place? Looking at the space around her, Xiling was completely shocked. She had already sensed that this space was very strange. Even she couldn't leave this place. If Longao was an enemy, wouldn't he be able to seal her forever? Not only that. Xiling was certain that even if he refined the Chaos Stone Tablet and became the ruler of the universe, he still wouldn't be able to leave this space. Xiling, this is a palace that I obtained by accident. As for its origin, I don't know. Xiling did not have the slightest doubt because she knew very well that Longao would not lie to her. The power of this starry sky divine artifact was a bit too terrifying. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. Xiling, there is indeed a problem with your Sword Intent Chaos Stone Tablet. I'll tell you about it later. Her heart was filled with joy. Xiling naturally knew what Longao meant. Could it be that Longao could help her refine the Chaos Stone Tablet? Xiling, let me tell you something. Back then, I obtained this palace by accident, and I also obtained a Chaos Stone Tablet, a non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet. A non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet? What did that mean? Xiling was very curious because she didn't know what Longao meant. Everyone, including the 12 of them, knew very well that in the vast universe, there were 12 Chaos Stone Tablets. Every Chaos Stone Tablet had its own power. The only thing they didn't have was a non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet. What kind of Chaos Stone Tablet was this? Moreover, in the vast universe, there were 12 Chaos Stone Tablets. How could there be a 13th Chaos Stone Tablet? Not to mention seeing it, they had never even heard of it. At this time, Longao summoned the Chaos Stone Tablet from within his body. Sensing it, it was indeed a non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet. This time, Xiling was completely stunned. Just now, she more or less didn't believe it, but now that she saw it for herself, It was indeed a non-elemental chaos stone tablet. Longao, how's your refining? It's very hard to refine. As for whether or not I'll be able to become a starry sky ruler after refining it, I'm not completely sure. Within the chaos stone tablet, there was also an axe. It was the chaos axe. Longao, it seems like you really are a variable. In all these years, I've never heard of a 13th chaos stone tablet in the vast universe, and a non-elemental one at that. If this were to spread, it would definitely shock the entire universe. With regards to Xiling's worries, how could Longao not know? Because of this, the fact that he had a 13th chaos stone tablet definitely couldn't be spread, especially to the divine mathematician. If the divine mathematician knew about this, he could imagine how much trouble there would be. Xiling, actually, I wasn't completely sure at first. However, I've already sensed your sword intent tablet. It's true that the divine mathematician did something to it. However, I have a way to get rid of the trouble inside. His heart was filled with joy. Although he had already guessed something, when it was confirmed, he couldn't help but be overjoyed. Longao, how long will it take? I don't know. However, you can't leave this place during this period of time. I need to find you to verify the tablet. He nodded. Today, Xiling had already recovered to the level of a universe master. If he could increase the speed of refining the tablet, he believed that the speed of improvement would be even greater. This way, it wouldn't take long for Xiling to recover to the level of a universe immortal and make the final push. It was impossible for Longao to destroy the power within the sword will primal chaos stone tablet. His strength was not enough. Even if he was a purple spirit, he would not be able to do so. But Longao had a way, and that was to borrow the power of his non-attributed primal chaos stone tablet to slowly destroy the power within the sword will primal chaos stone tablet. Just like that. Xiling stayed behind in the chaos hall to look around. As for Longao, he used all his strength to destroy the sword intent tablet's power. On the second day, Longao could move freely. Under such circumstances, he couldn't be of any help. Before this, he didn't know. However, after this incident, Longao had a feeling that his non-elemental chaos stone tablet's grade was far above the sword intent tablet's. In other words, his non-elemental chaos stone tablet's grade was far above all the other chaos stone tablets. Was this true? Longao didn't dare believe it. However, the non-elemental chaos stone tablet gave him such a feeling. Otherwise, how could it destroy the sword intent tablet's power? However, Longao didn't tell Xiling about this. He wasn't sure if his feeling was right. Chapter 2251. Violet Spirit, it will take roughly 3 months for the energy within your sword intent chaos stone tablet to be completely destroyed. He was pleasantly surprised. I really have to thank you this time. There's no need to be so polite with me. Xiling smiled. Longao, I've already walked through this palace. It's terrifying. I'm certain that this palace's power is no less than the tablet. On this point, Longao had already sensed it. He was almost certain. If he could hide in the Chaos Palace, even the Star Ruler might not be able to locate him. This was the power of the Chaos Palace. Xiling, forget it. What's going on? Xiling was very curious. He didn't know why Longao wanted to say something but stopped. Forget it. I'll tell you later. With the Chaos Palace, at least we have a way to protect ourselves. In the future, even the Oracle might not be able to kill us. Seeing that Longao wasn't willing to say more, Xiling didn't ask any more questions. Longao, I just went to the second side palace and found a portrait. In the Chaos Palace, apart from the first and second side palaces, the other side palaces couldn't be opened. Xiling, that portrait is very strange. That's right. That portrait is very strange. Even if it was me, if I looked at it for too long, my mind would be controlled. Fortunately, I left quickly. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Xiling continued, there's also the first side palace. There's a giant blood pool. What's its use? Longao didn't hide anything from Xiling. He roughly explained the use of the blood pool. Xiling was shocked. Back then, Longmire could use the dragon seal to create a Star Corps slave. It was very troublesome. I didn't think that this palace of yours could create a Star Corps slave, and one with a true immortal body. It's unbelievable. Xiling also found this a little inconceivable. Why can't the other side palaces be opened? At the mention of the other side palaces, Longao was also very depressed. He shrugged helplessly. Xiling, to be honest, ever since I obtained this primal chaos palace, I can only open 2 side halls. As for the other side halls, I can't open any of them. So that was the case. Xiling didn't ask any more questions. Anyway, the stronger Longao was, the happier she would be. Xiling was sure of one thing, and that was that she and Longao were definitely friends, and not enemies. If it weren't for Longao's help, he would have been controlled by the clairvoyant in the future, and the consequences would have been unimaginable. Xiling remained in the Chaos Palace. Longao left the Chaos Palace and prepared to return to the Soaring Dragon Realm. It would take at least 3 months to destroy the power within the Sword Intent Chaos Stone Tablet. 3 months. On the way. You've been following me for so long. Come out. Longao did not feel surprised at all when he saw the 3 newcomers. They were none other than Long Ming, Yi Mai, and Xian Tong. The 3 of them were the devouring Starry Sky Ruler, the immortal tyrant body Starry Sky Ruler, and the time Starry Sky Ruler. Long Ming and Yi Mai were Longao's good brothers. As for whether they were still friends, Longao didn't know. Longao didn't ask for too much. As long as he didn't become enemies with Yi Mai and Long Ming, it would be a blessing in disguise. Big brother. He waved his hand. Longao smiled and said, Long Ming, you don't have to be so polite. I really can't accept you calling me big brother. If you don't mind, you can call me brother Long. Long Ming also let out a deep sigh, because he was also very clear that ever since his primordial spirit had awakened, the relationship between him and Longao had completely changed. It had changed very strangely, and although the 2 of them did not want to do so, they had no choice. Brother Long, we came to find you this time because we need your help. Please speak. Longao was very curious. He didn't know why the 3 of them had suddenly come to find him. No matter what, the difference in status between him and the 3 of them was too great. What could the 3 of them ask of him? It couldn't be that they wanted him to destroy the power of the Chaos Tablet in their hands. After all, the 3 of them didn't know. What could it be? Longao, why don't we find a place? Okay. The 4 of them came to a place and sat around a stone table. What do you want from me? Longao went straight to the point. He didn't like to dilly-dally. Yi Mai nodded and said, Brother Long, I believe you already know about the matter between us and the Clairvoyant Master. The Clairvoyant Master has already taken control of our Chaos Tablet. If nothing unexpected happens, the Clairvoyant Master will definitely act against us in the future. What do you think? This matter didn't seem to have anything to do with him. Even though they were friends, Longao knew that he couldn't do anything. Otherwise, this matter would definitely be leaked. At that time, he would be in big trouble. Therefore, no matter what happened, he wouldn't help the 3 of them. This matter was very important. If he made one wrong move, he was afraid that everything would go wrong. At that time, not only him, but the entire Soaring Dragon Empire would be in big trouble. Longao, the Clairvoyant Master has been very good to you. According to our guess, the Clairvoyant Master wouldn't do this for no reason. The most likely possibility is that the Clairvoyant Master has already calculated something. You are a variable. Therefore, the 3 of us hope that you can stand by our side in the future. Brother Long, our relationship is very good. Yi Mai's attitude changed. Yi Mai and Long Ming were completely different. However, Longao didn't have the slightest bit of resentment. No matter what, Yi Mai was still the ruler of Starry Sky. He couldn't go back to the past. At this time, Xian Tong continued, Longao, the Clairvoyant Master can even plot against us. He will definitely plot against you in the future. Therefore, you should stand by our side. We will think of a way to refine the Chaos Tablet. At that time, as long as we become the rulers of Starry Sky again, We won't have to worry about the clairvoyant master. Longao almost understood the meaning of the three people very clearly. Longao smiled. The three of you think too highly of me. Even if I, Longao, have extraordinary talent, the most I can do is become a starry sky immortal in the future. However, you are all high and mighty rulers of starry sky. Do you need my help? Without waiting for the three to speak, Longao continued, we used to be friends and brothers, but I know that our relationship has changed. Including me and Long Ming, we can't go back to the past. I don't have any other request. As long as we are not enemies, it's fine. I can also tell all of you that although I, Longao, can't fight against a ruler of starry sky, I don't want to be a pawn of any ruler. If you still care about our old friendship, don't force me. Chapter 2252. Longao had had enough. If it were other rulers of the starry sky, he would have let it go. But it just had to be these three. Although he knew that their relationship with him must have changed because they had awakened their primordial spirits, he still hoped that they could continue to be friends. Xian Tong was one thing. However, Longao treated the other two as his brothers in his heart. Especially Long Ming. And the result? The three of them only treated him as a chess piece. A chess piece that could be trampled on, a chess piece that could be used at will. Longao completely exploded. He didn't care whether the three of them were rulers of the starry sky or not. Anyway, things had already come to this point. He didn't want to say anything more, even if it meant completely falling out with them. Goodbye. Just as Longao was about to leave, he suddenly said, the three of you, I'm not interested in the feud between you and the clairvoyant. Just like that. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, the three of them became more and more gloomy. Did we go a little too far? Long Ming and Ji of Plum Blossom sighed deeply. Even though they missed their previous friendship, their statuses were completely different now. They were completely different. This is a serious matter. If Longao doesn't want to help, there's only one outcome for us, which is to be completely controlled by the clairvoyant. Are you willing to see such an outcome? Ji Mai and Long Ming were completely silent. Longao had already said that. If they still insisted, wouldn't they completely fall out with Longao? It wasn't that they were afraid of Longao, but that they still had a trace of old friendship. One was their life, and the other was their old friendship. How should they choose? Xian Tong, what should we do now? Continue to look for Longao. Whether he's willing or not, we need his help. Even if they didn't want to continue, the two of them could only nod and agree. Longao, who left, was very angry and helpless in his heart. Who did he offend? Why was everyone looking for trouble with him? Without strength, he was the same no matter where he went. He was at the mercy of others. Strength, strength, strength. His cultivation had just broken into the titled World King realm and there was still a long way to go before he could reach the peak. But Longao was well aware that even if his cultivation reached the Starry Sky Immortal realm, he still wouldn't have the chance to speak in front of the Starry Sky ruler. There was only one way. That was to refine his own primal chaos stone tablet. At that time, once he became the ruler of the universe, he would no longer be a chess piece, but a chess player. Although his cultivation speed was already very fast, it was still too slow in the vast starry sky. Within the primal chaos palace, Longao told Xiling everything that had happened. Xiling felt helpless. Longao, it's not just you. Even I am a pawn of Master God Diviner. It was all because of Master God Diviner that the 11 of us were able to enter the cycle of reincarnation. Who could have guessed that one wrong move would lead to many more mistakes? One wrong step led to many wrong steps. One wrong step led to many wrong steps. Longao also had a helpless expression. He said, Master God Diviner is far too mysterious. Let alone you, I believe that if Master God Diviner wanted to scheme against anyone, no one would be able to resist. Longao admired Master God Diviner, but it wasn't because of his strength. After all, of the 12 rulers of the universe, the strongest was Dragon Annihilation, not Master God Diviner. He admired Master God Diviner because of his depth and craftiness. To be able to scheme against 11 rulers of the universe at the same time was enough to show just how terrifying Master God Diviner was. Xiling, as you said, trouble will continue to come for me in the future. Now I understand that establishing an empire was a mistake. If the other rulers of the universe want to deal with me, I won't even have the chance to resist. He was very depressed. Although he didn't want to admit it, as time passed, Longao discovered that he could indeed influence the movements of the rulers of the universe. This was because there were a total of 12 rulers of the universe that were related to him. What kind of concept was this? In the vast universe, there were only 12 rulers of the universe. Longao, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Why think so much? You already have the 13th Chaos Tablet. Once you refine it, you can become a ruler of the universe. You might even be able to suppress Master God Diviner. Why worry? You're right. Longao scolded himself in his heart. What was he worried about? Not to mention that he already had the Chaos Tablet. Even if he didn't devour the Chaos Tablet, there was no need to worry. Anyway, he would just take one step at a time. Unknowingly, Longao returned to the Soaring Dragon realm. The Soaring Dragon Empire was now developing steadily. Longao purposely spread the news that the Soaring Dragon Empire had a Starry Sky Legend and a Starry Sky Immortal overseeing it. However, the identities of the two were not leaked at all. Moreover, with the two fox demons overseeing it, no one doubted it at all. The Soaring Dragon Empire instantly became powerful. Who would dare to provoke the Soaring Dragon Empire? The most depressed one was the Heaven-Devouring Empire. After all, Longao and the Heaven-Devouring Empire had an agreement of 100 years. However, in just a few months, the Soaring Dragon Empire had a Star Immortal and a Star Legend. The Heaven-Devouring Empire knew that if the Soaring Dragon Empire wanted to make a move, they wouldn't be able to stop them. However, the Heaven-Devouring Empire was curious. Since the Soaring Dragon Empire had such a powerful existence, why didn't they make a move? Did Longao think that the Heaven-Devouring Empire was no longer qualified? It seemed ridiculous. No matter who it was, they would definitely eliminate the source of trouble. The Heaven-Devouring Empire didn't believe that Longao would let them off for no reason. The only explanation was that the Soaring Dragon Empire didn't have a Star Legend or Star Immortal. It was just a bluff by Longao. It was a vicious move. However, the Heaven-Devouring Empire was still worried. No matter what, Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Devil were sure that there were Star Immortal and Star Legendary experts within the Soaring Dragon Empire. Could it be that the two of them were helping Longao? It was impossible. Everyone in the Heaven-Devouring Empire knew that Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Demon had been chasing after Longao back then. The grudge between them had reached the point where they were like fire and water. It was impossible for them to help Longao and Linghu Yarrow. Even the Heaven-Devouring Empire had no idea whether this was true or not. Similarly, the Heaven-Devouring Empire wasn't sure if Longao would go against the agreement and make a move against them. After all, the universe was filled with experts. Everyone only cared about the outcome. Who would care about the process? Chapter 2253. Soaring Dragon Empire. The first thing Longao did upon returning to the Empire was to find Long Qiong. Big brother, what happened? Long Qiong, Long Ming, and Yi Zhimai were different. They were completely different. Long Qiong had obtained the 5 Elements Primal Chaos Tablet, but he wasn't the ruler of the 5 Elements Starry Sky. Long Qiong, listen to me first. Longao told him everything that had happened. Big brother, what do you mean? Immediately follow me into the Primal Chaos Hall. You can stay inside and refine the 5 Elements Primal Chaos Tablet. No problem. Long Qiong didn't have the slightest objection because he only knew one thing, and that was that his big brother would definitely not harm him. That was enough. Even now, Longao still felt some lingering fear. If the God Diviner hadn't told him about this, he would still be in the dark. If that really was the case, then whether it was Xiling or Long Qiong, once the God Diviner took control of them, they would be in deep trouble. Just thinking about it made him shiver. Just thinking about it made him tremble. Fortunately, he had discovered it early. There was still time to destroy it. After all, neither Longqiong nor Xiling had truly refined the primal chaos tablet. It wasn't too late. The god diviner had never known that Longao could destroy the power he had left in the primal chaos tablet. If he had known, who knew what he would have thought? Within the primal chaos hall, seeing Longqiong, Xiling wasn't the slightest bit surprised. He already knew that Longqiong had obtained the 5 elements primal chaos tablet. Xiling, once you completely refine the tablet and become the ruler of the starry sky, and my cultivation base has also reached the starry sky immortal realm, we can make a trip to the martial heaven continent. What is it? Xiling was very curious. The Dragon Valley had been completely moved to the soaring Dragon Empire by Longao. Under such circumstances, why would Longao return to the martial heaven continent? Could it be because of the oracle? As if he could guess what Xiling was thinking, Longao shook his head. I'm sure you haven't forgotten the shocking secret that Master God Diviner divined. I won't. Violet Spirit would never forget what had happened back then. It was because of that incident that they had willingly perished and entered the cycle of reincarnation. Otherwise, no one would be so stupid as to believe the words of Master God Diviner. Thinking about this, Xiling was furious. But what was done was done. So what if he was angry? Xiling, I've been to that place with the clairvoyant before. That place is very strange, but I can tell you for sure that the clairvoyant's divination was not wrong at all. Heh! Upon hearing this, Xiling was completely stunned. After so many years of development, not only Xiling, but everyone else also agreed that what happened back then was a lie made up by the oracle. It was a *T opportunity. Longao, are you sure? Yes. Longao knew that this was a serious matter, so other than Xiling, he did not intend to tell anyone else. Xiling, have you thought about it? If it weren't for what happened back then, would the oracle only control your chaos tablets? If it were me, I would definitely eliminate the source of the problem. When that time comes, the oracle will be the only one in the vast universe. Why would he leave you behind? Longao, what do you mean? That's right. What I mean is simple. The oracle wants to control your chaos tablets and control you. When the time comes, you will enter that mysterious place together. As for whether you will obtain the opportunity, I don't know. But the oracle will definitely obtain it. So that was it. Longao, have you thought of a way? Yes. When the time comes, there will only be 2 ways. If we can enter alone, then we will try and see if we can obtain the opportunity. Ruthless, crazy, and crazy. Violet Spirit knew very well what Longao's words meant. If they entered alone and were discovered by the divine mathematician would definitely deal with them. It would be very troublesome. The oracle's strength was obvious. If it were before, Xiling would not have been afraid of the oracle. He believed that no matter who it was, they would not be afraid of the oracle. But now, the situation was completely different. Xiling was almost certain that the oracle was the strongest of the 12 astral rulers. There was no doubt about it. But if he and Longqiong worked together, they should be able to defeat the oracle. But Xiling did not have the slightest bit of confidence. Xiling, if we can't do it, then we will beat them at their own game. We will enter the mysterious place with the oracle. When the time comes, you, Longqiong, and I will not be under his control. We will be able to make our own decisions. How could Xiling not understand Longao's intention? Things had already come to this. If he did not fight and waited until the oracle obtained a great opportunity, he would still be dead. Instead of that, he might as well try his luck. What if he could obtain a great opportunity? Well, Longao, I have already thought about it. It may not be a good thing for Bai Ling to cultivate alone. Why don't we let Bai Ling come to the Soaring Dragon Empire? Thank you. Longao was pleasantly surprised. He had thought about this for a long time, but he was too embarrassed to mention it. But now that Xiling had spoken first, he certainly would not be polite. Give me 3 days. 3 days later, Xiling brought Bai Ling back. Longao and Bai Ling had not seen each other for months and missed each other very much. At this moment, Longao's 3 close female friends were all by his side. To him, this was the happiest thing. His parents, grandfather, lover, they were all together. However, Longao was very clear that his matters were not over yet. If he did not settle everything, one could imagine what would happen in the future. His family would not even have the most basic safety. Hence, for his family, he had to settle everything thoroughly. The matter between Long Qiong and Xiling, other than Longao, no one knew. Even Longao did not know. This was because Longao was very clear that this matter could not be leaked. If it was leaked, he would be in big trouble. Today, Bai Ling had already condensed her own body and her strength had greatly increased. However, according to Xiling, Bai Ling's peak was only the starry sky immortal realm. When the two sisters obtained the sword intent chaos stone tablet together, after some discussion, Bai Ling did not hesitate to give it to her sister. At that time, Xiling was indeed selfish. After all, to be able to devour the sword intent chaos stone tablet and become a sword intent starry sky dominator was too tempting. Xiling could not resist. Hence, driven by selfishness, Xiling finally devoured the sword intent chaos stone tablet. Chapter 2254. Xiling felt very guilty. Longao didn't say much, because no one knew whether Xiling was right or wrong. Xiling Mai, Long Ming, and Shen Tong didn't choose to give up. Instead, they entered the soaring dragon realm. Seeing the 3 people suddenly appear in front of him, Longao's expression became even more unsightly. The 3 of them weren't willing to give up. What did they mean? Did they really have to shed all pretense of cordiality? Unless it was absolutely necessary, Longao didn't want to shed all pretense of cordiality with the 3 of them. The reason was simple. It wasn't that Longao was afraid of the 3 of them. So what if they were rulers of the universe? With the Chaos Palace, he was invincible. Brother Long, we came to find you this time because we want to have a good talk with you. Longao's expression was extremely gloomy. The 3 of you, I've already made it very clear. I have nothing to talk about with you. Take care. I won't see you out. Eviction order. This time, Longao didn't have the slightest bit of goodwill. He felt helpless in his heart. Shen Tong was one thing. Although they had a good relationship before, it wasn't a solid one. In this world, there were no eternal enemies, and no eternal friends. Only Long Ming and Xiling Mai. Longao truly treated the 2 of them as brothers. Even though they had awakened their primordial spirits, he had never thought that he would shed all pretense of cordiality with them. Xiling Mai and Shen Tong's expressions finally changed. Long Ming was still the same as before. The 2 of them were rulers of the universe. When had they ever been treated like this? If the other party was a godly mathematician, it would be fine, but he was just a mere titled realm king. So what if he was a variable? Longao, don't be so shameless. Xiling Mai's voice was cold. Even though he hadn't recovered his strength, in his opinion, it would be easy for him to kill Long Ming. As for their previous friendship, in his opinion, it was nothing but bullshit. Xiling Mai, scram. Telling a ruler of the universe to scram? Long Ming and Shen Tong were completely stunned. Although they knew that Longao was very arrogant, they did not expect that Longao was arrogant to such an extent. The Starry Sky ruler was the strongest existence in the vast starry sky. Anyone who dared to tell him to scram would be courting death. Longao, you. Spray of plum, you've gone too far. At this moment, Long Qiong and Xiling's figures suddenly appeared. One was the sword intent starry sky ruler, while the other had devoured the 5 elements primal chaos stone tablet. In the future, he would definitely become the 5 elements starry sky ruler. All of you. Yiji Mai, how did my elder brother treat you back then? Are you King human? I can clearly tell you that as a person, you must know how to be grateful. This is the cycle of karma. Spray of Plum Blossom was infuriated. As the Star Devourer ruler, Yiji Mai had a fiery temper. Longao, I'm telling you now. If you don't agree, you'll regret it. Really? Longao smiled. Spray of Plum Blossom was probably anxious. After all the starry sky rulers and primal chaos stone tablets had been tampered with by the clairvoyant. If nothing unexpected happened in the future, Spray of Plum Blossom would become the clairvoyant's puppet. Of course, Spray of Plum Blossom didn't want this to happen. Xian Tong and Long Ming didn't say anything, which could be considered a tacit agreement. Spray of Plum Blossom, there's something I don't understand. Why do you have to involve me in the matter between you and the clairvoyant? With my strength, I don't seem to be qualified. This was something that Longao couldn't figure out. Since the clairvoyant can calculate that you're a variable, then the future of the 12 of us must be related to you. Longao, since we're brothers, why don't you stand on our side? I won't agree to anything. See you out. An eviction order. This was the second time Longao had ordered him to leave. Longao wouldn't agree to anything at this time, because even he didn't know what to do in the future. Moreover, he wasn't sure whether the clairvoyant was an enemy or a friend. Spray of Plum Blossom's face was extremely gloomy and ugly. He had never thought that Longao would have two rulers of the starry sky by his side. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he wouldn't want to fall out with them. At this moment, Xian Tong immediately stepped forward to smooth things over. He said with a smile, Longao, I don't need to say more about our friendship. I believe you should know that we didn't come to you with any bad intentions. Our intention is actually very simple. We just hope that you can stand on our side. I've already said that I'm not interested in participating in the feud between the rulers of the starry sky, and I don't want to know about it either. I'll still say the same thing. I won't help anyone, and I don't have the right to do so. I've already said everything that needs to be said. If you still don't leave, don't blame me for being ruthless. Spray of Plum Blossom and Xian Tong's expressions changed again and again. In the end, the two of them chose to leave. As for Long Ming, who hadn't said anything all this time, he stayed. As the ruler of the starry sky of time, Long Ming's attitude had also changed. After all, the awakening of the primordial spirit would forcibly suppress the previous memories. Brother Long, I hope that we won't become enemies in the future. I hope so. Looking at Long Ming, who was gradually leaving, Long Qiong snorted coldly. He said with disdain, what an ingrate. Forget it. This matter ends here. Xiling looked worried. He said, Longao, things are definitely not that simple. You have to be careful. How could Longao not know about Xiling's worries? This time, the three of them had come to find him again and again. They must have sensed something. Otherwise, the three of them wouldn't have acted like this. Outside the soaring dragon realm, Spray of Plum Blossom said in an extremely cold voice, Longao really thinks that he's invincible in this world. Xian Tong, what do you think? Xian Tong sighed deeply and said helplessly, Longao and I don't have any grudges. I don't want to make things too tense. Spray of Plum Blossom, there's nothing much to talk about between us. We'll think of our own ways. Before Spray of Plum Blossom could say anything, Xian Tong had already left quickly. At this time, Long Ming walked out. Long Ming, why don't you and I join forces? I'd like to see how Longao can be arrogant. However, Long Ming snorted coldly and said in a very unhappy manner, the grudge between you and Longao, what does it have to do with me? It's really laughable. Don't bother me. Also, you're really... Long Ming didn't continue speaking. However, the meaning of his words was very clear. His face was full of disdain and contempt. Spray of Plum Blossom looked at the two people walking away. However, he really didn't dare to enter the soaring dragon realm alone. After all, Longao had two starry sky dominators by his side. There was no need to take the risk. The loss outweighed the gain. Chapter 2255. Longao was depressed. As things got more complicated, he was in more trouble. They were all rulers of the starry sky. Any one of them could make the entire starry sky tremble. Who did he offend? Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Devil returned to the First Empire. The more they thought about it, the angrier they got. However, they knew that Longao was no longer the same as before. Longao had a starry sky immortal and a starry sky legend by his side. It was impossible for the two of them to kill Longao. What should they do? They reported the matter to the Empire, hoping to get help from the Empire. However, the result was, the Empire didn't do anything. It was clear that they didn't want to cause trouble with a starry sky immortal. The Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Fiend were completely depressed. Jian Wudi had returned to the First Empire and targeted the two of them. This was what made them depressed. In the First Empire, Jian Wudi's identity and status were obviously higher than the two of them. Not only Jian Wudi, but the power behind Jian Wudi was also not to be underestimated. The First Empire didn't care. Although the Soaring Dragon Empire had a starry sky immortal, the First Empire didn't care as long as the Soaring Dragon Empire wasn't an enemy. Longao didn't leave the Soaring Dragon realm. Instead, he focused on his cultivation. With Xiling's help, Longao successfully broke through from a titled World King to a Starry Sky World Emperor. He made great progress until he became a titled World Emperor. He was only one step away from becoming a Starry Sky World Venerable. He didn't succeed in breaking through the last step. However, Longao wasn't discouraged in the slightest. This was because he was well aware that his cultivation speed was already very fast. He had broken through 2 realms in a row. If he were to cultivate normally, who knew how long it would take for him to break through from titled World King to titled World Emperor? Longao, your cultivation level is rising too fast. What you need to do now is to stabilize your cultivation level. Don't continue to break through. Otherwise, you will be devoured by your power. The consequences will be unimaginable. Regarding Xiling's meaning, how could Longao not know? His cultivation speed was simply too fast. Standing quietly in the chaos, Longao looked around. Long Qiong and Xiling's Chaos Stone Tablets were receiving the power of destruction. As for Xiling and Long Qiong, they continued to cultivate in the Chaos Hall. Arriving at the third side hall, Longao tried to open it. This was because he realized that as his strength increased, he could slowly open the side palace behind him. However, Longao helplessly discovered that he was still unable to open the third side hall. It was very depressing. He left the primal Chaos Palace. Longao waited until his realm had completely stabilized before he chose to leave the Soaring Dragon realm alone. 100 years was too long. He couldn't wait any longer. Under such circumstances, Longao knew that he had to end the battle quickly. Devouring Heaven Plain. Inside the Grand Hall, Chen Chen and Chen Ting looked dignified. Dongfang Hao and Che Yaman also looked helpless. This was because until now, they still couldn't be sure if there was a star inheritance or star immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire. If there wasn't, it would be fine. If there was, the Devouring Heaven Empire would be finished. This was because whether it was a star legend or star immortal, they were not existences that the Empire could contend with. Father, what should we do now? What should they do? They wanted to know what to do too. We'll take it one step at a time. However, based on my guess, there shouldn't be a star legend or star immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire. If there is, will Longao let us go? Hearing Chen Chen's explanation, everyone nodded in agreement. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared as if it had appeared out of thin air. Longao. If it was in the past, the 4 of them would definitely be surprised when Longao suddenly appeared. This was because the 4 of them had never put Longao in their eyes. However, the situation was completely different now. The current Longao was no longer the same as before. This was because no one knew whether there was a star inheritance or star immortal in the Longao's back. There would be no waves without wind. If there really was a star legend or star immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire, they would have no chance of resisting. As for Longao's strength, the 4 of them still didn't put him in their eyes. Longao, have you forgotten the 100-year agreement between us? No. Then why are you here this time? I'm here to settle accounts with you. You broke the agreement before. Can't you allow me to break the agreement? Hearing this, the 4 of them looked extremely gloomy. This was because Longao was too calm. The calmer he was, the more uncertain the 4 of them were, and the more they believed that Longao must have a star legend or star immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire. If that was the case, Longao wouldn't have dared to come here casually. What was going on? Are you afraid? Longao knew what the four of them were thinking. Before the four of them could speak, he continued, the four of you don't have to guess anymore. Due to some reason, there are indeed Star Legend and Star Immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Although they didn't want to believe it, the truth was right in front of them. If there were no surprises, Longao should have Star Legend and Star Immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire. If that was the case, the Empire would be in big trouble. With Longao's current strength, it would be too easy for him to destroy the Empire. However, the four of you don't have to worry. Even if you want Star Legend and Star Immortal to take action, you aren't qualified to do so. Hearing this, the four of them were completely dumbfounded. What did Longao mean? Since Longao had Star Immortals and Star Legendaries backing him, why didn't he use them? Everyone knew that the four of them wouldn't be a match for Longao's Star Legendaries and Star Legendaries. No one in the Heaven-Devouring Empire was a match for them. Why would Longao be so kind? That was impossible. The four of you, I came alone this time to settle the grudge between us. The four of you can come at me together. If you win, not only will I not die, but I will also hand my life over to you. If the four of you lose, I'm sorry, but not only you, but the entire Soaring Dragon Empire will be destroyed. Do you understand? Ah! The four of them were completely stunned. The four of them joining forces? Why was Longao so confident? From the beginning to the end, the four of them had never thought that Longao would be able to break through from titled World King to titled World Emperor in just a few months. After all, such a cultivation speed had never been seen before. Chapter 2256. In the next second, a terrifying aura erupted from Longao's body and shrouded the entire hall. Titled World Emperor? Sensing the aura from Longao's body, the four of them were completely stunned. They never thought that Longao's cultivation had already broken through to the titled World Emperor. Was this real? The four of them didn't dare to believe it. They had seen many talented people, but they had never seen someone who cultivated so quickly. It was a little too fast. How long had it been? The four of them finally knew why Longao dared to come alone. It turned out that his cultivation had already broken through to the titled World Emperor. If that was the case, they were in big trouble. If it was an ordinary titled World Emperor, Chen Chen could deal with him. No matter what, Chen Chen's cultivation had already broken through to the titled World Emperor. Only Longao. Longao himself was very mysterious. Even if he hadn't broken through to the titled World Emperor, he was still a freak, let alone now that he had broken through to the titled World Emperor. It would be a lie to say that they weren't worried. Until now, the four of them were a little regretful. Why did they provoke Longao out of nowhere and bring such a big trouble to themselves? Longao, how can we resolve our grievances? In the end, Chen Chen still chose to compromise. He didn't have the slightest confidence that he could defeat Longao. Taking a step back. Even if he could defeat Longao, so what? If Soaring Dragon Empire really had a Starry Sky Legend or Starry Sky Immortal Realm expert, he and the Empire would still have a dead end. The current situation was already very disadvantageous for the Empire. They had to think of a way to resolve it. Moreover, Chen Chen knew that since Longao dared to come alone, he must have a strong backing. If they were to fight, the chances of him losing were too high. He didn't dare to take the risk. He couldn't take the risk. Chen Chen, all this time, you guys have been biting me and not the other way around. I'm a very simple person. If people respect me, I'll respect them tenfold. However, if others are despicable, I won't be merciful. The four people's faces were very gloomy, as ugly as they could be. Longao's arrogance and dominance were obvious. Moreover, Longao was a fearless madman. Back then, he was only a grade 8 Starry Sky cultivator, yet he dared to go against the Heaven-Devouring Empire. If it was anyone else, would they dare to do the same? He definitely wouldn't dare. Before the four of them could speak, Longao continued, however, the Heaven-Devouring Empire is no longer qualified to be my enemy. I'll give you a chance. As long as you promise me, you won't have to die. The four of them didn't say anything, which could be considered a sign of silence. My condition is very simple. Longao went to the side and sat down. It was as if he had returned to his own home. Longao, if you have something to say, just say it. He smiled. Longao was indeed arrogant. If it had been anyone else, even if they had broken through to the titled World Emperor realm, they definitely wouldn't have dared to do so. What Longao had done was clearly provoking the heaven-devouring empire. I choose to submit. Submit. The four of them didn't seem surprised at all. They guessed that Longao must have his own reasons for being so kind. It turned out that he wanted them to submit. If the heaven-devouring empire chose to submit, it would be a complete loss of face. Where would they put their face? Choose to submit. Or reject. The four of them knew very well that if they chose to submit, the heaven-devouring empire would be utterly humiliated. However, if they chose to reject, with Longao's strength, he would definitely destroy the entire heaven-devouring empire. They were unwilling to submit, but they didn't dare to reject. It could be said that they were in a dilemma. Since the two of you are here, why don't you show yourselves? The two of them. Hearing Longao's words, the four of them were curious. They didn't know what was going on with Longao because there wasn't any aura around them. There wasn't even a single person. Could it be that Longao was hallucinating? Longao, I really didn't expect you to break through to the titled World Emperor realm in just a few months. Congratulations, we really have to congratulate you. The two of them weren't strangers. They were the two Starry Sky World Masters from the First Empire, Ling Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Devil. Although the two of them couldn't get help from the Empire, they were still worried. They didn't know if Longao would act against them. After all, Longao wasn't the same as before. Whether it was a Starry Sky Immortal or a Starry Sky Legend, he wasn't someone they could deal with. This time, the two of them were looking for an opportunity to eliminate Longao. No matter what happened, they had to kill him. Otherwise, they would be in big trouble in the future. As for Longao, he wasn't surprised at all. He knew what the two of them were up to. He sneered and said, "Gentlemen, it seems like it's time to settle the grudge between us." Disdain and contempt were written all over their faces. They said mockingly, "Longao, do you really think that you can fight against us just because you've broken through to the titled World Emperor realm?" The strength of a Starry Sky World Master was far above that of a titled World Emperor. This was a well-known fact. The two of them didn't believe that Longao could defeat them with his strength. It was simply impossible. The gap between the two of them was too big. They weren't even on the same level. Longao didn't care. He said with a smile, "Gentlemen, no one knows who's stronger and who's weaker. I'll settle the score with you later. As for now, Chen, I'll ask you one last time. Do you choose to submit or be destroyed?" Chen was also in a dilemma. He knew very well that even if he had chosen to submit to the First Empire, the First Empire might not help him if something happened. He was just cannon fodder for the First Empire. "Longao, we've already chosen to submit to the First Empire. If you dare to act recklessly, I believe the First Empire won't let you off." Chen was definitely unwilling to submit. Previously, submitting to the First Empire was already a very shameful thing. If he submitted to Longao again, he might as well kill himself. Left with no choice, Chen could only choose to use the First Empire to suppress Longao, hoping that Longao would back off. The two of them didn't speak. The First Empire's strength was obvious. Unless Longao was crazy, he definitely wouldn't dare to provoke the First Empire. This was a must. However, what was the result? If it were anyone else, they definitely wouldn't dare to provoke the First Empire. No matter what, the First Empire was the strongest Starry Sky Empire in the vast Starry Sky. However, Longao didn't care about the First Empire at all. If he didn't provoke the number one empire, the number one empire wouldn't provoke him either. They would mind their own business. If the number one empire came looking for trouble, Longao wouldn't be polite at all. He would deal with whatever came his way and kill them all. Chapter 2257. Regarding Chen Chen's meaning, Longao knew it clearly. Chen Chen, are you trying to use the number 1 empire to suppress me? Chen Chen did not reply, but his meaning was clear. I can tell you clearly that even if all 9 empires were to gather, no one would be able to protect the heaven-devouring empire, let alone the number 1 empire. Since you're not willing to submit, then I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Hearing Longao's words, Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Demon burst out laughing. In the vast universe, the 9 empires ruled supreme. 9 great starry sky empires. Any random starry sky empire could easily destroy the soaring dragon empire. The two of them really couldn't figure out what gave Longao such courage. Black Mountain Old Demon, I'll leave it to you. Linghu Yarrow's cultivation state had already recovered to that of a titled world ancestor. How could he strike out casually? Until now, Chen Chen and the other 3 did not know that Linghu Yarrow was a reincarnated body of a Star World legend. Black Mountain Old Demon nodded his head. The strength of a Star World master was not to be underestimated. He walked towards Longao step by step. And the result? Before Black Mountain Old Demon could get close, Longao clenched his fists tightly. The space around Black Mountain Old Demon started to crack, and the cracks started to compress. Black Mountain Old Demon was completely stunned. If it were the previous Longao, even if he had star control, it would be impossible for him to fight against a Star World master. After all, the difference between the two of them was simply too great. But right now, the situation was completely different. Longao's cultivation state had already broken through from titled World King to titled World Emperor. This was an increase of 2 whole levels. Longao's star control had increased tremendously as well. If Black Mountain Old Demon were to give it his all, he would definitely be able to fight against Longao. But right from the start, Black Mountain Old Demon did not take Longao seriously at all. Under such circumstances, it was obvious what would happen. In just an instant, Black Mountain Old Demon's tragic cry rang out. Before the 5 of them could react, his body was swallowed up by the terrifying cracks in the starry skies. Under the compression of the cracks, Black Mountain Old Demon did not even have a chance to fight back. Black Mountain Old Demon was killed in a single move. Was this for real? If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not believe it. The Black Mountain Old Devil was a genuine starry sky world venerate, while Longao was only a titled world emperor. Under normal circumstances. With Longao's strength, it was impossible for him to be a match for the Black Mountain Old Devil. Let's not talk about the Fox Demon for now. Just Chen Chen and the other 3, each and every one of them was in complete despair. Sure enough, as they had guessed, following Longao's forceful breakthrough in strength, he could already sweep away all the powerhouses of the same level. Even if he were to kill enemies of a higher level, it would be a matter of minutes. If that was the case, no one in the heaven-devouring empire would be a match for Longao. But at this moment, the 4 of them could clearly sense that Linghu Yarrow's aura came from Starry Sky Ancestor. Could Black Mountain Old Demon be Starry Sky Ancestor? Longao, you've really surprised me. To think that you could kill the Black Mountain Old Demon in an instant. However, it doesn't matter. In my eyes, you're still an ant that can be slaughtered by anyone. If I want to kill you, it's easier than killing an ant. Black Mountain Old Demon was full of confidence. Black Mountain Old Demon had recovered to Starry Sky Ancestor. Unless it was a Universe Almighty, Universe Legend, or Universe Immortal, no one would be his match. Sensing the powerful aura released by Black Mountain Old Demon, the 4 of them heaved a sigh of relief. If Black Mountain Old Demon could kill Longao, it would be considered as eliminating the source of trouble for the Empire. Longao was still nonchalant. He smiled and said, Black Mountain Old Demon, if you're willing to submit to the Soaring Dragon Empire, I'll consider it. Ah! Isn't Longao too reckless? He wants to subdue Black Mountain Old Demon? Is he out of his mind? Chen Chen, Chen Teng, and the other 2 laughed. Their laughter was very mocking. Longao, aren't you a little too arrogant? Longao did not care at all. He chose to ignore the 4 people's laughter. Instead, he stared at Linghu Yarrow in front of him and said indifferently, Linghu Yarrow, you only have one chance. Just when Black Mountain Old Demon was about to say something, his expression changed. He nodded and said, "We can talk." Black Mountain Old Demon looked at the four of them and said coldly, "The four of you, leave first. Without my order, no one is allowed to enter. Remember, if I sense anyone, don't blame me for being merciless." Ah! The four of them were dumbfounded when they saw the 180-degree change in Black Mountain Old Demon's attitude. They didn't know what was going on, but they were obviously afraid of Black Mountain Old Demon. They could only choose to leave. Yes. The four of them quietly retreated. After a short while, only Longao and Linghu Yarrow were left in the entire hall. "Longao, what do I get from following you? What can you give me? As long as I continue to awaken, I can recover to the legend realm of the Starry Sky. Even if I can't reach the Starry Sky immortal realm, I will still be standing at the peak of the Starry Sky. What do you think you have that can tempt me?" Black Mountain Old Demon was very curious because Longao had told him that he had something that could tempt Black Mountain Old Demon. Because of this, Black Mountain Old Demon chose to stay. He wanted to hear what Longao had to tempt him. Longao didn't say anything. Instead, he summoned Xiling from the Chaos Palace. "Who are you?" Black Mountain Old Demon was very curious. He didn't know who the girl beside Longao was. However, Black Mountain Old Demon was afraid of her because he couldn't sense her true strength no matter how hard he tried. If he had recovered to his peak, Black Mountain Old Demon wouldn't be afraid of anyone unless the Starry Sky immortal realm came. However, the situation was completely different now. He had just recovered to the titled Universe Ancestor realm. If he encountered an expert above the Starry Sky immortal realm, he wouldn't even have a chance to fight back. The girl beside Longao couldn't be an expert above the Starry Sky immortal realm. If that was the case, he would be in big trouble. At that time, he might not even be able to leave alive, let alone kill Longao. Longao knew what Black Mountain Old Demon was thinking. He said, "Black Mountain Old Demon, do you know about the legend of the 12 rulers of the Starry Sky?" He became even more curious. Linghu Yarrow didn't know why Longao had suddenly mentioned the 12 rulers of the vast Starry Sky. As for the legend of the 12 rulers of the vast Starry Sky, he believed that every Starry Sky cultivator knew about the legends of the 12 rulers of the Starry Sky. Chapter 2258. He was very curious. Linghu Demon couldn't figure out why Longao suddenly mentioned the 12 dominators of the Starry Sky. From beginning to end, the Fox Demon had never imagined that the girl by Longao's side would be a ruler of the stars. Everyone knew. The 12 dominators of the Starry Sky had all died. It was no secret in the vast Starry Sky. Longao smiled. He looked mysterious. The more Longao behaved like this, the more Linghu Demon felt unsure. He always felt that Longao was not simple. There was only one possibility for him to be so calm, and that was that Longao was fearless and didn't care about him at all. If that was the case, did he really fail miserably this time? "Longao, what are you smiling about?" "Linghu Demon, do you know who she is?" "I don't." "What does her identity have to do with me?" Linghu Demon was very depressed. He didn't know what Longao meant, because he could sense that the girl beside Longao was not weak. Even so, what could he do? At worst, he would leave. Revenge was a dish best served cold. Linghu Demon was a legend of the Starry Sky. With enough time, he could set foot on the legend of the Starry Sky again. If that was the case, Longao was not qualified at all in Linghu Demon's eyes. A legend of the Starry Sky was almost at the peak of martial arts. As for the 12 dominators of the Starry Sky, they were all dead. In the vast Starry Sky, except for Longao and a few people, no one knew that the 12 dominators of the Starry Sky had all awakened, especially the marvelous mathematician, who had recovered to the dominator of the Starry Sky. "Longao, what do you mean? Just say it." Linghu Demon was a little impatient. They were clearly enemies, but now he was acting as if he and Longao were friends. "Linghu Demon, if I told you that the girl beside me is a dominator of the Starry Sky, would you believe me?" "Get lost." "No. Of course not. Nonsense. If this person was the Starry Sky ruler, and she was the Starry Sky ruler, there was no way the fox demon would believe that the girl next to Longao was the legendary Starry Sky ruler. The 12 galaxy rulers had all perished. Even if Longao wanted to trick him, he shouldn't have used galaxy rulers. That was too low level. Longao was not surprised at all. It would be strange if the fox demon chose to believe him. He didn't say anything else. Facts speak louder than words. The more he spoke, the more mistakes he would make. Xiling, who was standing at the side, suddenly released a terrifying aura that enveloped the fox demon. His face was full of disdain and disbelief, but when he sensed Xiling's aura, he was completely stunned. Others might not be able to sense anything, but it was impossible for the fox demon not to sense it. As a star legend, the fox demon naturally knew what this aura meant. It was the aura of the Starry Sky ruler. Was this person really the ruler of the Starry Sky? In the vast starry sky, there were 12 astral sovereigns, the 5 elements astral sovereigns, the devouring astral sovereigns, the lightning astral sovereigns, the space astral sovereigns, the time astral sovereigns, the destruction astral sovereigns, the reincarnation astral sovereigns, the massacre astral sovereigns, the divination astral sovereigns, the sword will astral sovereigns, the immortal tyrant body astral sovereigns, and the darkness astral sovereigns. And the girl beside Longao, who was the ruler of the stars? He was completely stunned. He was a bit dumbfounded, because he had never imagined that the girl next to Longao really was the ruler of the stars. If he hadn't personally sensed her aura, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Now that he thought about it, he shivered in fear. If this man had attacked him just now, he would have died without even realizing it. Acting so presumptuously in front of the astral ruler was suicidal. Longao seemed to be able to guess what Linghu Yarrow was thinking. He smiled and said, "This is one of the 12 rulers of the Starry Sky. Linghu Yarrow, don't think that just because you're a legend of the Starry Sky, you can do whatever you want. I can tell you clearly that if I wanted to kill you, it would be almost effortless." Longao was indeed bluffing. Given his strength, there was no way he could kill Linghu Demon. Even if Xiling could, he wouldn't dare to do it casually. It was better to be safe than sorry. If there was a mishap, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, the Linghu Demon had really been fooled, because he didn't know what the Sword Intent Starry Sky situation was. In the Linghu Demon's opinion, the Sword Intent Starry Sky's ruler could kill him in a matter of minutes. Even if he was at his peak and recovered to the Star Legend level, he wouldn't be able to contend against a Star Dominator, let alone now. In the end, he was nothing in front of the Star Dominator. "Longao, what do you want?" Linghu Demon's face was very serious as he asked word by word. "It's very simple. I need your help. In return, when your cultivation recovers to the Star Legend level, I will ask the Star Dominator to help you break through to the Star Immortal level. What do you think?" Such a condition was very tempting, because Linghu Demon knew very well that he wouldn't be able to break through to the Star Immortal level in his lifetime by relying on his talent and hard work. If he could use external help to break through to the Star Immortal level, it would be a very good thing. The temptation was too great for Linghu Demon to refuse. If Longao had said it himself, Linghu Demon wouldn't have believed him. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao had a Star Dominator by his side. It shouldn't be difficult for a Star Dominator to help him break through to the Star Immortal level. What others couldn't do didn't mean the Star Dominator couldn't. In the vast starry sky, the 12 rulers of Starry Sky were invincible existences. They were also the strongest existences. Because of this, Ling Fox Demon had never doubted Longao's words. In his opinion, as long as the ruler of Starry Sky was willing to help, he could become a Starry Sky Immortal in the future. Linghu Demon was only afraid. If he really agreed to join the Soaring Dragon Empire, how would he explain it to the First Empire? Although he was a star legend, he couldn't ignore the First Empire's power. No matter what, the First Empire's strength was obvious. It was almost impossible to go against the First Empire. Ling Fox Demon knew his own limits. Others might not know, but he knew very well that there was a Starry Sky Immortal guarding the First Empire. Was he a match for a star immortal level expert? Linghu Demon, what do you think? Longao didn't want to kill Linghu Demon because he knew that the Soaring Dragon Empire needed a powerhouse. Chapter 2259. Longao, can you fight against the First Empire? Hearing Linghu Yaro's words, Longao instantly understood what the other party meant. Even if Linghu Yaro was so powerful, he was still alone and could not fight against the entire First Empire. There were countless starry sky empires in the vast starry sky. Only the 9 starry sky empires were the true strongest in the vast starry sky. Especially the First Empire, which could be said to be the strongest force in the vast starry sky. Without asking or guessing, Longao was almost certain that there must be a starry sky immortal in the First Empire. There was no doubt about this. Linghu Yaro's worry was understandable. If it were him, he would definitely have such concerns. After thinking for a while, Longao's expression became extremely serious. Linghu Yaro, I know what you are worried about, but I can tell you clearly that since you have chosen to join the Soaring Dragon Empire, no matter what trouble you encounter in the future, we will advance and retreat together. Advance and retreat together? Linghu Yaro was a little absent-minded because for so many years, he had yearned to advance and retreat together. But in the vast starry sky, would such a thing happen? If the First Empire wanted to deal with him in the future, would Longao stand up and help him? Definitely not. As if he could guess what Linghu Yaro was thinking, Longao did not care at all and said, "It's up to you to believe it or not." Before Linghu Yaro could speak, Longao continued, "Linghu Yaro, I will give you one last chance. Are you willing to join my empire?" Could he refuse? If there was no dominator of the starry sky, Linghu Yaro would definitely not choose to surrender. But the problem now was that the girl next to Longao was one of the 12 dominators of the starry sky, the dominator of the starry sky. It was very depressing. If he had known this, he would not have come this time. He went for wool and came back shorn. Not only did he fail to kill Longao, but he was also in a dilemma. Xiling, he doesn't want to. Xiling's face suddenly turned cold and the aura that erupted from his body once again suppressed Linghu Yaro. Wait. In the end, Linghu Yaro chose to compromise because he knew very well that his strength could not compete with the dominator of the starry sky. If he did not choose to surrender, he would die. Longao, I hope you keep your word. Hearing that the fox demon had chosen to compromise, Longao was overjoyed. Now that Linghu Yaro had recovered to the level of a starry sky world ancestor, there was no doubt that he could become a starry sky legend if he continued to awaken. The legend of the starry sky would be of great help to his empire. 10 minutes later, Chen Chen and the other 3 returned to the main hall. They were very curious about what Longao and Linghu Yaro had talked about. The 4 of them looked at Ling Fox Yaro. As long as Ling Fox Yaro killed Longao, everything would be resolved. Brother Linghu. Shut up. Before Chen Chen could finish speaking, Linghu Yaro's cold voice sounded. Until now, the 4 of them did not know that Linghu Yaro had already joined the Soaring Dragon Empire. The 4 of you, I will ask you one last time. Are you willing to surrender to the Soaring Dragon Empire? The 4 of them kept looking at Linghu Yaro because they were all waiting for Linghu Yaro's decision. If Linghu Yaro killed Longao, then they could escape this disaster. If Linghu Yaro chose to leave, then they had no choice but to fight to the death with Longao or surrender. What would Linghu Yaro choose? Under normal circumstances, Linghu Yaro and Longao had a grudge against each other. If nothing unexpected happened, Linghu Yaro would definitely deal with Longao. But just now, the 2 of them had chosen to be alone. Until now, the 4 of them still did not know what had happened between the 2 of them. Brother Linghu, sorry to trouble you. Linghu Yaro turned around and looked coldly at the 4 people in front of him. With a flash, he disappeared. Before the 4 of them could react, Linghu Yaro was already in front of them. He gave each of them a vicious slap on the face. The 4 of them were completely stunned. What happened to Linghu Yaro? What was going on? Linghu Yaro, you. Surrender, or die. Linghu Yaro's voice was cold, and his body was filled with killing intent. The four of them could clearly feel that if they made the slightest movement, they would definitely be killed by Ling Hu Yao. Ling Hu Yao's actions had completely confused the four of them. Weren't Ling Hu Yao and Longao mortal enemies? The four of them couldn't figure it out. The two of them were clearly enemies. Why did the fox demon want to help Longao out of nowhere? What exactly had happened? The four of them were dumbfounded, not knowing what had happened. Surrender, or die? Ling Hu Yao asked coldly again. He seemed to be getting impatient. Since he had chosen Longao, he would not be disloyal, especially at a time like this. Therefore, Ling Hu Yao had already decided that if the four of them dilly-dallied, he would immediately destroy the heaven-devouring empire. It would be his first gift to Longao. The four of them had already understood what had happened. Although they were shocked, the truth was the truth, and it could not be changed. Imperial Father. Chen Ting was completely flustered. He did not want to die, and the empire could not be destroyed. In the end, other than being afraid of death, Chen Ting's ambition was even greater. His ambition was not limited to today's achievements, but to become an existence like the 9 great empires in the vast universe. How could Chen not know what his son was thinking? Since things had already come to this point, there was nothing he could do. He could only nod helplessly and say, "I'm willing to surrender." Longao, what do you have in mind? This was the most important thing. Chen did not know whether Longao wanted to completely destroy the heaven-devouring empire and merge them into the Soaring Dragon Empire, or keep the heaven-devouring empire as a vassal of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Chen and Chen Ting naturally wanted to keep the heaven-devouring empire, because they did not want to become Longao's prisoners. After dealing with the four of them, Ling Hu Yao did not say anything else. He stood by the side, and the four of them became even more curious. They did not know how Longao did it. Why did Ling Hu Yao seem to have changed into a different person in just a few minutes? They could not figure it out. However, since things had already come to this, even if they could not figure it out, they could only choose to surrender. Otherwise, the heaven-devouring empire would be destroyed. No one was willing to die. Furthermore, the heaven-devouring empire was the blood and sweat of countless people. They could not allow it to be destroyed in their hands. What if Longao chose to destroy the name of the heaven-devouring empire and take over the heaven-devouring empire? Could it be that they would have to endure it as well? The two of them were nervous, not knowing what Longao would choose. Chapter 2260. Chen Ting, don't worry. The heaven-devouring empire won't be swallowed up. You're just a subsidiary of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Hearing Longao's words, the two heaved a sigh of relief. If that was the case, the heaven-devouring empire still had a chance to turn things around. How could Longao not know what the two of them were thinking? However, Longao no longer placed anyone in the heaven-devouring empire in his eyes. With his current strength, he didn't even need any external help to destroy the heaven-devouring empire. That was right. No matter what the two of them were thinking, Longao didn't care at all. Strength determined everything. Right at this moment, Ling Hu Yao said solemnly, "Longao, forgive me for being blunt, but the heaven-devouring empire and I have chosen to follow you. If the number 1 empire finds out about this, you'll be in big trouble." Nodding his head, Longao was also wary of the number 1 empire. As the strongest empire in the universe, the number 1 empire's strength was clear for all to see. Even if he had his own star immortal realm in the future, he wouldn't be able to go against the number 1 empire. Unless Ling could regain her status as a starry sky ruler, and Long Qiong could successfully refine the Chaos Stone Tablet and become a starry sky ruler, then the Soaring Dragon Empire would be able to sweep across the vast universe, and no one would dare to provoke them. Longao was confident that with Ling and Long Qiong in the Soaring Dragon Empire, even the other star dominators wouldn't dare to provoke the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao knew what it meant to have 2 star dominators working together. We'll take it one step at a time. Ling Hu Yao, you only have one mission now, and that is to recover your strength as soon as possible. Once you've recovered to the Star Legend realm, I'll help you break through the bottleneck and become a Star Immortal. Star Legend? Linghu Yarrow was a star legend. Was this for real? The four of them were extremely shocked because they knew what it meant to be a star legend. So Linghu Yarrow was the reincarnation of an expert. However, after hearing Longao's words, the four of them became even more shocked. They finally understood why the fox demon would suddenly choose to help Longao and deal with the four of them. It turned out that he wanted to break through to a higher realm, which was the legendary Starry Sky Immortal Realm. Could Longao do it? What a joke! If Longao could really do it, why didn't he help him break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm? Regardless of whether Linghu Yarrow believed it or not, the four of them definitely did not believe it. However, since things had already come to this, even if the four of them were extremely displeased, they could only keep their mouths shut. When the time was right, he would make a comeback. As the saying goes, where there's life, there's hope. Linghu Yarrow, come with me. Looking at the five people's departing figures, the four people's expressions became more and more unsightly. Longao did not put the four of them in his eyes at all. In other words, the four of them were not qualified at all. Anger. Definitely angry. Father, I have a feeling in my heart that it will be very difficult for us to make a comeback. Chen Teng felt helpless because Longao's cultivation speed was too terrifying. Moreover, the Soaring Dragon Empire had Starry Sky Legend and Starry Sky Immortal Realm experts. It was almost impossible for him to make a comeback, especially to kill Longao. Chen also nodded in agreement and said helplessly, in less than 100 years, Longao will lead the Soaring Dragon Empire and be able to look down on the 9 great Starry Sky Empires. At that time, we might be able to rise with the Soaring Dragon Empire. Rise. Rise or be destroyed, no one knew. Because Longao's development speed was so fast, he would definitely go against the 9 great Starry Sky Empires in the future. No matter what, the 9 great Starry Sky Empires' strength was there. It was really difficult for Longao to go against the 9 great Starry Sky Empires. If it was someone else, they would definitely not be able to do it. Only Longao was a variable. As soon as they left the main hall, Longao brought Linghu Yarrow into the Chaos Palace. Looking around the palace, Linghu Yarrow was completely stunned because he realized that it was almost impossible for him to leave the palace. What was going on? Longao, what is this place? Linghu Yarrow was very worried. Even if he was confident that Longao would not be his opponent with his strength, if Longao sealed him here, wouldn't he suffer a double loss? My Starry Sky Divine Weapon. At this moment, Linghu Yarrow saw Xiling, the sword-intent Starry Sky Dominator, and immediately became respectful because he knew that whether he could break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm in the future would depend entirely on this sword-intent Starry Sky Dominator. Linghu Yarrow, let me introduce you. This is the 5 elements Starry Sky Dominator. Long Qiong immediately unleashed his own 5 elements Qi. When he sensed it, the fox demon was completely stunned. Another dominator of the stars. Is this for real? Unbelievable, unbelievable. Linghu Yarrow could not figure out why there were 2 Starry Sky Dominators by Longao's side at the same time. Looking at the scene in front of him, he was shocked to find that the 3 seemed to be on good terms. Who exactly was Longao? His intuition told him that ordinary people could not be friends with Starry Sky Dominators. The difference in status made these Starry Sky Dominators superior. The only explanation was that Longao was not an ordinary person, but a legendary Starry Sky Dominator. Could Longao really be the reincarnation of a Starry Sky Dominator? If that was the case, he had made the right choice. Even now, Linghu Yarrow was still a little scared. If he had not agreed just now, wouldn't he have died? Looking at the 2 Starry Sky Dominators, Linghu Yarrow's attitude took a 180-degree turn. Linghu Yarrow, you don't have to worry about anything else. I can tell you now that in the future, my Soaring Dragon Empire will replace the First Empire and become the most powerful Starry Sky Empire in the vast universe. If Longao had dared to say such a thing in the past, Linghu Yarrow would have snorted disdainfully. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao had 2 Starry Sky Dominators by his side. Not to mention replacing the First Starry Sky Empire, even dominating the vast universe would be a matter of minutes. Longao did not say much, and Linghu Yarrow did not ask any more questions. This was because Linghu Yarrow knew very well what to ask and what not to ask. Longao, can you help me ask the Starry Sky Dominator how my cultivation can recover to the Starry Sky Legend level? Linghu Yarrow was very clear about his situation. Of course, he knew when he could recover to the Starry Sky Legend level. He only hoped that the two Starry Sky Dominators could help him recover his cultivation faster. That way, he could break through to the Starry Sky Immortal level sooner. Chapter 2261. Regarding Linghu Yarrow's meaning, how could Longao not know? Linghu Yarrow, I can answer your question right now. Linghu Yarrow was fully focused because he knew that the two rulers of stars were his only hope. Whether he could break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm depended on the two rulers of stars. I'm afraid you're the only one who knows when you'll be able to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. Even if you have the help of the two rulers of stars, it'll be useless if you can't do it. What do you think? Yes. Linghu Yarrow smiled awkwardly. Linghu Yarrow knew that Longao wasn't wrong. He had to rely on himself. Longao had brought Linghu Yarrow into the Chaos Palace because he thought highly of him. Longao could sense that Linghu Yarrow wasn't a simple person. In fact, anyone who could become a Starry Sky Legend or Starry Sky Immortal wasn't simple. Whether it was a Starry Sky Legend or Starry Sky Immortal realm, they could become a Starry Sky ruler with their talent. Unfortunately, Starry Sky Legends and Starry Sky Immortals weren't lucky. There were only 12 Chaos Stone tablets in the entire universe. Devouring Sky Plane. The news of Devouring Sky Empire submitting to Soaring Dragon Empire had spread throughout the entire empire and the universe. Under normal circumstances, Devouring Sky Empire submitting to another Starry Sky Empire wasn't a big deal. After all, it was common for a Starry Sky Empire to submit to another Starry Sky Empire. But now, the outcome was different. Everyone knew that Devouring Sky Empire had submitted to Number 1 Empire, which meant that they were now part of Number 1 Empire. What would it mean if they submitted to Soaring Dragon Empire? Longao was challenging Number 1 Empire. Did Devouring Sky Empire have a death wish? Everyone was certain that if news of this were to spread back to the First Empire, it would definitely incur the wrath of the First Empire. When that time comes, one could imagine the consequences. They had seen arrogant people, but not to this extent. Longao dared to challenge Number 1 Empire. Rumor had it that Soaring Dragon Empire had a Starry Sky Legend and Starry Sky Immortal realm. Did that mean that Longao could ignore Number 1 Empire? Let's not talk about whether there were Starry Sky Legends and Starry Sky Immortals in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Even if there were Starry Sky Legends and Starry Sky Immortals in the Soaring Dragon Empire, they would not be a match for the First Empire. The First Empire, as the most powerful existence in the vast universe, its strength was not to be underestimated. Everyone was looking forward to it. He was looking forward to seeing how the First Empire would react when they found out about this. Longao didn't seem to care. The Soaring Dragon Realm was still the headquarters of the Soaring Dragon Empire. After the Heaven-Devouring Empire became a subsidiary of the Empire, Longao handed everything over to his elder brother, Long Ying. Longao believed in his big brother's ability very much. Long Ying was well aware of the current situation. Even if the Heaven-Devouring Empire had chosen to submit, they weren't on their side. Since he wasn't one of their own, they had to be on guard. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. Long Ying's method was very simple. It was to make an invisible change. Borrowing the strength of the Heaven-Devouring Empire to quickly develop the Soaring Dragon Empire, and whether it was intentional or not, he was also changing the strength of the Heaven-Devouring Empire. In the Grand Hall, Shen Teng's expression changed. He knew what Long Ying meant, but what could he do? Longao was no longer the same as before. If there was any obstruction, Longao would definitely destroy the Heaven-Devouring Empire. The gains would not make up for the losses. Father, things aren't looking good. At this rate, our empire will fall in less than a year. Chen Chen also sighed deeply, and said helplessly, unless a Starry Sky Legend appears in our empire, otherwise, with Longao's current strength, plus Starry Sky Legend and Starry Sky Immortal, we have no power to resist. Helplessness. Neither of them had expected the Empire to fall to such a state. If they knew, they wouldn't have provoked Longao. If they didn't provoke Longao, the Empire wouldn't be in such a state. Father, what should we do now? If this continued, the Empire would only exist in name. At that time, not to mention Longao, any random empire could easily destroy the Empire. At this moment, Che Yaman suddenly said, Brother Chen, there are a few words that I don't know if I should say. Brother Che, please speak. Che Yaman wouldn't say much under normal circumstances. Because of this, Chen Ting wanted to hear what Che Yaman had to say. Che Yaman smiled helplessly and said, Brother Chen, have you ever wondered why Fox Demon would choose to submit to Longao? You should know that Longao is the so-called Starry Sky ancestor and a Starry Sky legend expert. If nothing goes wrong, Fox Demon will definitely become a Starry Sky legend expert in the future. Chen Teng, and even Dongfang Hao knew this very well. They also knew that Fox Demon chose to submit to Longao because Longao could help Fox Demon break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. However, the three of them chose not to believe it. If Longao could really do it, why didn't he break through himself? Why did he choose to help Linghu Yarrow? If they chose to believe it, they would be fools. Che Yaman seemed to be able to guess their thoughts. She sighed helplessly and said, You're all smart people, but you're very muddle-headed when it comes to this matter. You should know Fox Demon's character very well. Plus, he's a Starry Sky legend expert. Do you think Fox Demon would choose to submit without full confidence? The three of them didn't speak as they began to think. It seemed like this matter wasn't as simple as it seemed. Under normal circumstances, Fox Demon wouldn't choose to submit. It was unbelievable. Just like what Che Yaman said, Fox Demon wouldn't believe it if they didn't believe it. In that case, Fox Demon still chose to submit. It would be a lie to say that there wasn't something fishy going on. Please speak. Although Che Yaman was a woman, she still preferred to call each other brothers. Brother Chen, according to my guess, Longao must have a way to help Fox Demon break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. Although I don't want to believe it, it's a fact. Therefore, we must find a way to ease our relationship. Otherwise, we'll lose this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The three of them knew what Che Yaman meant. You should know that even if Longao can help Fox Demon, he might not help us. Chapter 2262. The four of them felt helpless. If Longao could really help them break through to a higher realm, submitting to him might not be a bad thing. However, would Longao be willing to help? Linghu Yarrow's situation was different. No matter what, she was still a Star Sky legend. What do you guys think? No matter what, we have to give it a try. The four of them immediately stood up and headed to the Soaring Dragon Empire. Soaring Dragon Empire. In the main hall, Longao wasn't surprised by the sudden arrival of the four of them. He seemed to have guessed it. What's the matter? Longao, we're here to talk to you about something. Chen and Chen Ting had already decided to ignore the matter of the Soaring Dragon Empire taking over the Empire. It didn't matter even if the Empire was destroyed, as long as their cultivation could increase. The four of them even looked forward to reaching the Star Sky Legend or Star Sky Immortal realm. It would be a wonderful thing. Let's hear it. Longao sat leisurely. It was still the same sentence. In the current situation, he did not put the four of them in his eyes at all. If he wanted to, he could kill the four of them in minutes. However, Longao didn't do that. The height they stood at was different, and the angle they looked at things was different. Destroying the heaven-devouring empire and killing the four of them was meaningless. He might as well subdue them. Longao, we're sincerely submitting to you. We hope that you can help us increase our strength. We'll be grateful. So it's about this. Longao had never thought that the four of them would be here for this matter. He had always thought that they were here because of his brother's influence and the power of the heaven-devouring empire. How do you know that I can help you break through? Because of Brother Linghu. Longao instantly understood their intentions. He smiled and said, "Forgive me for not being able to help." They were indeed rejected. The four of them weren't surprised at all. They had already guessed that Longao would reject them. It would be strange if he agreed. However, the four of them didn't choose to give up. "Longao, we're willing to go through fire and water for you. Go through fire and water for you." These simple words were enough to show the determination of the four people. However, Longao shook his head and said, "Forgive me for being blunt, but your talents are limited. Even if I am willing to help, you might not be able to go far. However, Linghu Demon is different. He is a Star Sky legend. As long as he works hard, he can reach Star Sky Immortal." So that was the case. The more this was the case, the more the four of them looked forward to it. Since Longao was able to help Linghu Yarrow break through from legend rank to immortal rank, he believed that Longao would be able to help the four of them break through to a higher realm. The four of them didn't ask for much. He only hoped that the four of them could reach the Starry Sky Realm Monarch or even the Starry Sky Realm Ancestor. As for the so-called Universe Almighties, Universe Legends, and Universe Immortals, the four didn't even dare to think about it. Chen Chen thought for a moment and finally said, "Longao, our requirements are really not high. Just do your best to help me improve." Right at this moment, Long Ying walked in from outside and glanced at the four of them. She walked in front of Longao and used her spiritual sense to communicate with him for a while. After hearing what she said, Longao was a little shocked. "Have you made up your mind?" Longao didn't expect that the four of them would willingly hand over the heaven-devouring empire. In other words, the heaven-devouring empire was no more. "Longao, we have made up our minds. The four of us only wish to pursue the martial path and follow you. As for the heaven-devouring empire, there is no need for it to exist anymore. Please help us." "Seventh brother. Big brother, I know what to do." Longao looked at the four of them and said with a smile, "It's not that I don't trust the four of you, but this is a matter of great importance." Speaking up to here, Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning of his words was already very clear. The four of them weren't fools. They knew what Longao meant. After thinking for a moment, Chen Chen said, "Longao, we are willing to make a blood oath." Before Longao could say anything, the four of them made the blood oath in unison. This time, the four of them were going all out. If it was before, they wouldn't have dared to do this. Once they made the blood oath, their lives would be in the hands of Longao. As long as Longao wanted to, he could kill the four of them at any time. Longao nodded with a smile and said, "Follow me." The four of them made the blood oath. The four of them followed Longao and disappeared from the hall, entering the Primal Chaos Palace. Inside the Primal Chaos Palace, the four of them looked around curiously. Could this be Longao's universal divine weapon? Previously, the four of them couldn't figure out what Longao's universal divine weapon was. But now, it seemed like it was this space. Why did Longao bring the four of them into this place? Could it be that this place could help the four of them break through? Thinking of this, the four of them became a little excited. As if he could guess what the four of them were thinking, Longao said, "Do you know why Fox Demon chose to submit to me?" Of course, they knew. Chen Ting said, "If we guessed correctly, you should be able to help Fox Demon break through from the legend realm to the immortal realm." This was the most crucial issue. Let alone Linghu Yarrow, no matter who it was, they would agree without hesitation. Although it was only an increase of one realm, the four of them knew very well that it was almost impossible for Linghu Yarrow to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm from the Starry Sky Legend Realm. No wonder Fox Demon chose to submit to Longao. However, Longao shook his head and said, "Not completely. The biggest reason for the Fox Demon is still because." At this time, Long Qiong's figure appeared. The four of them were familiar with Long Qiong because it was this person who almost destroyed the empire. Could it be that Fox Demon chose to submit to Longao because of this person? This was a little ridiculous. This person was at most a Starry Sky World Emperor. Not to mention Linghu Yarrow, even the four of them could easily destroy this person. They couldn't figure it out. However, the four of them were not fools. Since Longao said so, It seemed that there was something wrong with this person. Was there something fishy? He's my brother. We know. The four of them became more and more curious. They didn't know what Longao meant. Of course, they knew that the other party was Longao's brother. Even so, what did it mean? What did it matter if Fox Demon chose to submit to Longao? My brother is the dominator of the five-element starry sky. Longao, don't joke. The four of them laughed because they didn't believe it at all. Dominator of the starry sky? Was it possible? Chapter 2263. Astral Dominator? There were a total of 12 astral rulers in the vast universe. Everyone knew that the 12 dominators of the starry sky had all perished. Even if the 12 star rulers hadn't perished, the four of them still couldn't believe that the young man beside Longao was one of the legendary star rulers. It was simply nonsense. If he believed this, he would be a little crazy. However, among the four of them, only Che Yaman's expression was unusually solemn. It was said that women's thoughts were very meticulous. Che Yaman knew Longao very well. Especially in this kind of situation, she knew that Longao wouldn't be so free as to come and deceive the four of them. In the end, the four of them were still not qualified. Longao smiled. Do you think I would lie to you? Seeing that Longao didn't seem to be lying, the four of them were completely shocked. Could it be that what Longao said was true? Long Qiong was the ruler of the stars, dominator of the five-element starry sky. Although they didn't want to believe it, the four of them still told themselves that it should be true. At this moment, the four of them finally understood why Linghu Yarrow had chosen to submit to Longao. It turned out that aside from the fact that Longao could help Linghu Yarrow break through to the starry sky immortal realm, the most important reason was because of the five-element starry sky ruler. The four of them knew very well what it meant to be the ruler of the five-element starry sky. In the vast starry sky, the 12 rulers controlled the entire starry sky. Now that the five elements ruler was Longao's little brother, didn't that mean that Longao was the five elements ruler's older brother? F***ck. Unbelievable. It was simply inconceivable. If this situation continued, wouldn't Longao be able to dominate the vast starry sky? However, the four of them were not fools. They were more or less confused. Since Longao had the help of the ruler of the five-element starry skies, why didn't he directly dominate the vast starry skies? Why did he have to endure everything? The only explanation was that the ruler of the five-element starry sky had been seriously injured and had not recovered to his peak strength. Otherwise, Longao would not have been in such a state. The four of you, I've already said that your talents are limited. Even if I'm willing to help, according to my estimation, the best you can do is to break through to the Starry Sky Realm Monarch level. Starry Sky Realm Monarch? Even so, the four of them were already satisfied. Before the four of them could speak, Longao continued, but since you're willing to follow me, I won't mistreat you. He was overjoyed. Later, I will help you find the Starry Sky Divine Deity. I don't dare to say anything else, but finding a Starry Sky Divine Deity should not be a problem. This was definitely not a gratuitous act. Long Qiong had full confidence in his own talent and Long Qiong's strength. He didn't dare to say too much about the Starry Sky Immortal Godheads or the legendary Starry Sky Godheads, but any Starry Sky Godheads below the Starry Sky Realm were more than enough. Thank you. After Chen Chen and the other two left, Longao left Che Yaman alone. She was the only woman among the four. Longao, are you looking for me? Che Yaman couldn't figure out why Longao had asked her to stay. Longao smiled and said, "You are very smart." Are you smart? What did that mean? Che Yaman didn't say anything. Even now, he still didn't know what Longao meant. He didn't know what he should say. Among the four of you, your talent is the highest. Thank you. He was completely confused. Che Yaman was a bit dumbfounded. Someone wants to take you as a disciple. Are you willing? With all due respect, can you first tell me who it is that wants to take me as a disciple? Che Yaman's intuition told her that the person Longao was talking about was definitely not simple. However, it was still better to clarify things. Astral ruler, titled Sword Will. Sword Will Starry Sky Dominator. Che Yaman was completely stupefied. She had never imagined that Longao would have another Starry Sky ruler by his side. The Sword Will Starry Sky ruler and the 5 elements Starry Sky ruler. There were a total of 12 astral rulers in the vast universe. Dominator of the 5 elements Starry Sky, Dominator of the Devouring Starry Sky, Dominator of the Lightning Starry Sky, Dominator of the Space Starry Sky, Dominator of the Time Starry Sky, Dominator of the Destruction Starry Sky, Dominator of the Reincarnation Starry Sky, Dominator of the Slaughter Starry Sky, Dominator of the Divine Calculation Starry Sky, Dominator of the Sword Intent Starry Sky, Dominator of the Immortal Tyrant Body Starry Sky, and Dominator of the Darkness Starry Sky. Who was Longao? Was Longao also a Starry Sky ruler? If that wasn't the case, how could Longao have 2 astral rulers by his side? Moreover, one of them was Longao's little brother, while the other, if nothing unexpected happened, should have a good relationship with Longao. As if he could guess what Che Yaman was thinking, Longao smiled and said, "I am not a Starry Sky ruler. These 2 are my friends and brothers. The Sword Will Starry Sky ruler thinks highly of your talent. As long as you are willing, you can become his disciple." In fact, Longao also didn't expect that Xiling would be willing to take Che Yaman as his disciple. According to Xiling, Che Yaman's talent was very good, and she was very suitable to cultivate with him. If nothing unexpected happened, Che Yaman was very likely to become a Starry Sky immortal. It wasn't devouring a Starry Sky godhead to become a Starry Sky immortal. The meaning was completely different. Longao, where is my master? To become a disciple of a Starry Sky ruler, unless Che Yaman was out of her mind, she would definitely not refuse. There was almost no need to guess that if she could cultivate with a Starry Sky ruler, her future achievements would not be lower than a Starry Sky legend, or even a Starry Sky immortal. Starry Sky immortal was a realm that everyone dreamed of reaching. Your master has temporarily left for some matters. He will be back in a few days. I am just letting you know. Thank you. Che Yaman was very glad that she had made the choice. If she had chosen to go against Longao, not to mention becoming a disciple of a Starry Sky ruler, she didn't even know if she could survive. After Che Yaman left, Long Chong asked curiously, "Big brother, the 4 of them are not qualified at all. Why did you do this?" Long Chong couldn't understand. The 4 of them had tried to kill Big Brother before. Even if Big Brother was magnanimous and didn't want to pursue the matter, he didn't have to do this. He didn't know what Big Brother was thinking. The Empire now needs to develop quickly. I have a feeling that the First Empire won't be able to hold back for long. Sooner or later, there will be a big explosion. We must develop at the fastest speed. Therefore, I need the help of the 4 of them. The First Empire was different from the Devouring Heaven Empire. Even Longao was very wary of it. In any case, Long Chong and Xiling hadn't recovered to their peak strength, so they wouldn't be of much use. As for Jiyu Tian, he wouldn't help at all to deal with the First Empire. He would only protect the Empire. The current Empire couldn't compete with the First Empire at all. They had to plan early. Chapter 2264. They were afraid of the First Empire. Whether it was Long Chong or Xiling, their identities could not be leaked. There were always crazy people in the vast universe. If they were at their peak, they could ignore everyone. But now, the situation was completely different. Xiling hadn't recovered his Starry Sky Dominator state, and Long Chong didn't know when he would be able to refine the Chaos Tablet. If this matter was leaked, who knew if people would come looking for trouble? The 4 of them stayed in the Soaring Dragon Empire, waiting for an opportunity. The news of the Heaven-Devouring Empire's complete destruction and annexation by the Soaring Dragon Empire spread across the entire region. Was it true? In just a few years, Long Chong had successfully taken over the Soaring Dragon Empire. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it. Long Chong's annexation of the Soaring Dragon Empire had crossed the First Empire's bottom line. Would the First Empire let it go? Without a doubt. It would be strange if the First Empire let it go. On this day, Tian Dao's sudden arrival made Long Chong nervous. After all, Tian Dao was the starry sky dominator. Even if he hadn't recovered, he was still a terrifying existence. Long Chong couldn't sense Tian Dao's strength. But according to Xiling's senses, Tian Dao had recovered to the level of a starry sky dominator. He was only one step away from becoming a starry sky dominator. Why was Tian Dao here? Long Chong, long time no see. How have you been? There were no eternal enemies in this world, but there were no eternal friends either. Tian Dao, may I know why you're here? He went straight to the point. Long Chong knew that he and Tian Dao hadn't reached a point where one of them had to die. At the end of the day, he and Tian Dao were both pawns of the divine mathematician. If Long Chong could think of this, Tian Dao must have thought of it as well. You're always so straightforward, Yang Qi said. The reason I'm here today is to ask if you and Master God Diviner have reached some sort of agreement. Damn, it's this again. Longao realized that ever since the Star Sky rulers had gathered at the Crystal Palace, all the Star Sky rulers had believed that there was some secret between him and the Master God Diviner. Even now, he had no idea why Master God Diviner had chosen him. In the eyes of Master God Diviner, even the Starry Sky Sovereign was nothing, much less Yang Qi. No. The Heavenly Tao clearly did not believe him. Longao, Master God Diviner helped you from the very beginning. Without him, you would never have made it this far. On this point, Longao absolutely believed. Because of Master God Diviner, the Tao of Heaven had been unable to make a move against him. With his strength back then, as long as the Heavenly Tao made a move, he would definitely die. So what? Since it had already happened, there was no point in saying anything more. Longao didn't say anything because he didn't know what the Heavenly Tao meant. Longao, do you believe that even now, I can still kill you in minutes? I don't believe it. This wasn't Longao bragging, but Longao was full of confidence. With Xiling, a member of the Star Sky race, there was no way the Heavenly Tao would act rashly unless there was something wrong with its head. With the threat of Master God Diviner, the Heavenly Tao's top priority now was to find a way to escape from Master God Diviner's scheme, and not to deal with him. Longao was very clear about this. He didn't continue to dwell on this issue. The Heavenly Tao smiled and said, Longao, I believe you already know about Master God Diviner. Master God Diviner has schemed against all of us, including you. Don't believe anything he says, or you will regret it. Longao smiled. He shrugged helplessly and said, Heavenly Tao, since you have said so, I will also say something. I don't need to say more about Master God Diviner's strength. I believe you know it better than I do. The Heavenly Tao didn't say anything, but nodded in agreement. The 12 rulers of the starry sky are the rulers of the 5 elements starry sky, devouring starry sky, lightning starry sky, space starry sky, time starry sky, destruction starry sky, samsara starry sky, massacre starry sky, divine divination starry sky, sword will starry sky, immortal tyrant body starry sky, and darkness starry sky. If nothing unexpected happens, Master God Diviner should be the strongest. Continue. Neither Longao nor the Heavenly Tao had the slightest objection to this point. Of the 12 rulers of the starry sky, Master God Diviner was the most mysterious. Because no one had seen him in action, no one knew how strong he was. All this time, the 12 rulers of the starry sky all believed that the ruler of the samsara starry sky, also known as the Dragon Destroyer, had the strongest fighting strength. But now it seemed that the strongest existence was undoubtedly Master God Diviner. The great opportunity that Master God Diviner divined back then should be true. As for what happened to you later, I don't know, and I have no right to speak, but I know that if you want to refine the Chaos Tablet again and restore the ruler of the starry sky, you will have to rely on Master God Diviner. At this point, Longao didn't continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. How could the Heavenly Tao not understand the meaning of Longao's words? It was because of this that the Heavenly Tao came to the Soaring Dragon realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so idle. Longao, I can almost say that Longao must have divined something by helping you. If there is no accident, you should be a variable. Since you are a variable, then even Master God Diviner can't grasp it. In that case, I want you to do me a favor. There was no need for the heavenly Tao to say more. Longao had already guessed the other party's meaning. Longao smiled and didn't hide anything. He told the heavenly Tao about the 3 rulers of the starry sky in full detail. Since he had rejected the 3, he also rejected the heavenly Tao. Longao's meaning was very simple. He didn't want to intervene in the affairs of the rulers of the starry sky. You mean you don't want to intervene? En. He didn't hesitate to offend the heavenly Tao because this matter was of great importance. Longao knew very well that if he intervened, there would be endless trouble. Who knew what would happen? Longao, do you think you can stay out of this? The heavenly Tao didn't get angry at all. Instead, he smiled and continued, Longao, you are a smart man. I believe you should know that since Master God Diviner has chosen you, you can't run away. Even if you want to stay out of this, it is impossible. If you stand with me, I can guarantee it. Thank you for your kindness, but I won't intervene. Longao refused without giving the heavenly Tao a chance to continue speaking. Chapter 2265. Tian Dao's expression turned a little ugly. Longao didn't give him any face. If it was before, it would have been fine. After all, Longao didn't know that he was the ruler of space. But now, Longao clearly knew that he was the ruler of space, yet he still rejected him. Didn't that mean that he didn't put him in his eyes at all? Tian Dao, I have a few words. Are you willing to listen? Please speak. Tian Dao knew that since Longao dared to reject the 3 rulers of space, he would definitely reject him as well. Tian Dao, the divine mathematician, has already tampered with the chaos tablets of the 11 of you. If nothing unexpected happens, as long as the divine mathematician doesn't act, you won't be able to refine the chaos tablets and become the new ruler of space. How could Tian Dao not know this point? So what if he knew? It was because of this that Tian Dao was furious to the extreme. What did Longao mean by this? Tian Dao, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but the only way now is for you to ask the divine mathematician to help you refine the chaos tablets. As for me, you'd better not look for me. Longao was the one with the most pain in the ass. The 3 of them were like this, and so was Tian Dao. Longao, are you determined not to help me? No. Then what do you mean? Tian Dao was completely confused. What did Longao mean? Tian Dao, I can only say this. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely be willing to help. But you have to make it clear that I can't promise you. Not only you, no matter who it is, even if the divine mathematician personally comes, I will give the same answer. Are you satisfied? Since things had already come to this, what could Tian Dao do? But at this moment, Long Qiong and Xiling's figures appeared instantly. 3 months had passed. Whether it was Long Qiong or Xiling, with the chaos tablets, there was basically no threat. As for this matter, Longao didn't leak it out. Apart from them, no one else knew about this, including the divine mathematician. Xiling, who are you? Of course, Tian Dao knew Xiling. As the Sword-Will Starry Sky Dominator, they had been dealing with each other for countless years. As for Long Qiong, Tian Dao was very shocked and did not know what was going on. The heavenly Tao could clearly sense that Long Qiong's body was emitting a powerful 5 elements qi. In other words, this person had the 5 elements chaos stone tablet. Long Qiong was definitely not the ruler of the 5 elements starry sky. Since this person wasn't the 5 elements sovereign, then why did he possess the 5 elements chaos stone tablet? As if he could guess what the heavenly Tao was thinking, Longao smiled and said, Heavenly Tao, to tell you the truth, the ruler of the 5 elements starry sky has truly fallen, and my brother has obtained the 5 elements chaos tablet. He did not intend to continue hiding this matter. Longao's meaning was clear. Others could keep it a secret, but there was no need to hide it from the other rulers of the starry sky. With Long Qiong and Xiling in charge, the situation would definitely be different. The heavenly Tao was extremely shocked. Until now, he really did not know that the ruler of the 5 elements starry sky had fallen. No wonder he hadn't seen the ruler of the 5 elements starry sky when the rulers of the Crystal Palace had gathered. It turned out that the ruler of the 5 elements starry sky had fallen. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. After a brief moment of shock, the heavenly Tao calmed down. Since things had come to this, what else could he say? The heavenly Tao finally understood why Longao had been so arrogant. Not only had he rejected the 3 rulers of the starry sky, but he had also rejected him. It turned out that he had nothing to fear. With 2 rulers of the starry sky helping Longao, Longao was completely fearless. Xiling had a fiery temper and disliked the heavenly Tao. He said coldly, "Heavenly Tao, you talk too much nonsense." Longao's words were very clear. "Do you find it interesting?" Without giving the heavenly Tao a chance to speak, Xiling continued, "Don't you think that the oracle said this on purpose?" "What do you mean?" "Think about it yourself. The heavenly Tao, if you want to cause trouble, we are ready to teach you a lesson." Xiling was overbearing, but he was also a ruler of the starry sky. Xiling was not afraid of the heavenly Tao. If worse came to worst, they could go to war. The heavenly Tao wouldn't know who would win. The heavenly Tao wasn't stupid. Even if the 2 of them fought, the heavenly Tao wouldn't intervene, not to mention the oracle and the threat of Longqiong. Xiling's strength didn't need to be mentioned. The power of the will of the starry sky was comparable to the power of Longmie. "Xiling, you have to know that the oracle will control you in the future. Aren't you worried?" Would Xiling be worried? The heavenly Tao did not know that the power within the sword intent chaos stone tablet had already been completely removed. Violet Spirit could refine it without any problems. But of course, Violet Spirit would not say anything about this. If word of this leaked out and the heavenly Tao found out, then it would be a small matter. If word of this reached the ears of the divine mathematician, then it would be a big problem. "The heavenly Tao, we will talk about the future in the future. You and I haven't recovered to the starry sky immortal level. The most important thing now is to recover to the starry sky immortal level as soon as possible. When the time comes, we will discuss how to deal with this. In that case, I will take my leave." Things had come to this. Even if he stayed, he wouldn't get any benefits. The heavenly Tao had to stand up and leave. Looking at the disappearing figure, Longqiong snorted and said coldly, "Big brother, why didn't you leave the heavenly Tao here? With the 3 of us working together, we should be able to deal with it." Longqiong was domineering, but Xiling shook his head and said, "Things aren't as simple as you think. The 5 elements of the starry sky must have been abandoned by the will of the starry sky during the process of reincarnation. Otherwise, the 5 elements of the starry sky wouldn't have died. So, as long as the space of the Chaos Stone doesn't break away from the heavenly Tao, it's almost impossible for us to destroy it." Longqiong nodded and said, "Xiling is right. If we don't have the confidence, we shouldn't act rashly. If we can't destroy the heavenly Tao, we will go for wool and come home shorn." Longqiong didn't say anything, but his face was full of anger. He kept coming to cause trouble. "Longqiong, we can't go on like this. The clairvoyant must know that these people came to find you. If he thinks too much, you will be in big trouble." Longqiong knew what Xiling meant. He thought for a moment and said, "You are right. It seems that I have to go find the clairvoyant." Longqiong didn't want to leave just like that. He didn't want the clairvoyant to misunderstand him. If he caused trouble for himself, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Chapter 2266. Sky Marshal Plain. Outer Sea, Crystal Palace. Master Godly Mathematician wasn't surprised by Longao's sudden arrival. "Senior, I came to see you this time because," before Longao could speak, Master Godly Mathematician said, "Sit down." As soon as Longao sat down, Master Godly Mathematician continued, "I already know about Tian Dao, Longming, and the others. I like what you did." Sure enough. Longao had already guessed that Master Godly Mathematician must have known about this. Fortunately, he had come. Under such circumstances, Longao would rather be enemies with Tian Dao and the others than fight Master Godly Mathematician. "They tried to fight me, but they overestimated themselves. If I wanted to, I could kill them at any time. Master Godly Mathematician seemed to have become a different person. Longao was very curious, but he didn't have the slightest doubt. Given the current situation, Master Godly Mathematician could indeed kill the other rulers of Starry Sky. The only reason he hadn't done so was because of the mysterious place. Longao, do your thing. You'd better not interfere with the matters between me and the other rulers of Starry Sky. Otherwise, no matter who it is, I won't give face to anyone. I know that. This was the reason he had come this time. The current situation was very clear. Among the 12 rulers of Starry Sky, Master Godly Mathematician was the strongest. If it weren't for the mysterious place, Master Godly Mathematician would have destroyed the other rulers of Starry Sky long ago. He sighed deeply in his heart. Master Godly Mathematician had come to find him. It seemed that it would be impossible for him to stay out of this in the future. Not to mention other things, just because of Long Qiong and Xiling, he couldn't stay out of it. If Master Godly Mathematician found out that the two were out of his control, he would undoubtedly take action. Longao, your cultivation base has improved well, but you still have to speed up. The mysterious place is about to open. If you miss it, Master Godly Mathematician didn't finish his words, but Longao understood the meaning of his words clearly. I know what to do. Normally speaking, Yang Qi's cultivation speed wouldn't have been slow. But he was in a special situation right now. Just as Master God Diviner had said, once that mysterious place opened, he would go all out. Therefore, whether or not Yang Qi would be able to enter that mysterious place was still up in the air. Longao got up and left. Longao didn't tell anyone about his secret trip to the Heaven Martial Plane. There was a loud bang. The Lightning Sovereign, falling wood, destroyed an entire plane. If it were anyone else, would they dare to do this? However, Luo Mu did not take it to heart. Back when he had awakened his primordial spirit, it was precisely this plane that had nearly killed him. It was precisely because of this that Luo Mu had decided to destroy it. What are you doing? Seriously. Without waiting for the onlookers to finish speaking, Luo Mu directly attacked. He killed every single one of them that came. Looking at the man who was crazily slaughtering, everyone was completely stunned. Longao, who was preparing to return to the soaring dragon Bitwall, was also surprised to see Luo Mu destroying the Bitwall. Longao didn't know whether Luo Mu was a friend or a foe. If it weren't for Luo Mu, it would have been difficult for him to leave the reincarnation clan alive. After all, it was Luo Mu's credit that Long Mie hadn't discovered him back then. However, Longao didn't think that he and Luo Mu were friends just because of this. In this world, there were no eternal enemies, and no eternal friends. Longao saw Luo Mu, and Luo Mu also saw Longao. He seemed a little surprised. He never thought that he would see Longao at this time. What are you doing? Just cutting the weeds and digging up the roots. Come with me. He really didn't want to see anyone, but he just had to see this person. However, things had already come to this. Longao didn't say much and followed Luo Mu. In an intermediate plane, Luo Mu and Longao found a very elegant place to sit down. Do you think that I'm wrong to destroy a plane? I can't comment. Longao didn't intend to ask, because whether it was right or wrong, people who didn't understand had no right to speak. It was just like when he destroyed the Qiankuan plane. Outsiders didn't understand the situation at all. Was he really wrong? Therefore, it was hard to say whether Luo Mu was right or wrong. Luo Mu smiled and said, in the vast starry sky, the strong are respected. If you have the strength, not to mention destroying a plane, even destroying 10,000 realms is child's play. However, you don't have the strength. Not to mention destroying a plane, even if you kill a person, it will be a big problem. Longao nodded in agreement. This was the cruel reality. Luo Mu, I'm not interested in this matter. Thank you for before. If you don't have anything else, I'll take my leave first. My empire still has many things to do. Luo Mu didn't care at all. Instead, he smiled and said, Longao, you and I met this time because of fate. I don't need to guess to know that the oracle must have told you about the mysterious place. After so many years, I already know why the oracle is still unwilling to act. Heh. Longao was very curious, because he also wanted to know why the oracle didn't act himself. Could it be that he was really afraid of the mysterious place? This didn't seem to make sense, and no one knew what the reason was. Please tell me. Longao was also very curious about the mysterious place. After all, it was a place that the 12 rulers of the starry sky wanted to enter. Longao was not a fool. Would the other 11 rulers of the starry sky choose to die and enter the cycle of reincarnation because of the oracle's deception? It was almost impossible. The 11 rulers of the starry sky must have thought that there was a great opportunity in the mysterious place, so they were willing to die. Otherwise, the 11 of them would be too stupid. But what the 11 rulers of the starry sky never expected was that after they chose to die and enter the mysterious place, they were ruthlessly schemed against by the oracle. This time, they were completely screwed. Longao, according to my guess, the reason why the oracle is still unwilling to enter the mysterious place is that, in addition to the full help of the 11 of us, he is waiting for a person, a variable. In an instant. Longao already understood what was going on, and the meaning was very clear. Could it be that the oracle was doing this because of him? In other words, he was the variable that Luo Mu was talking about. Although it was a little ridiculous, Longao was still a little worried. If this was true, then things would be really troublesome. Luo Mu, do you believe it? I'm a variable. What a ridiculous thing. Chapter 2267. Longao definitely didn't believe him. Was it because he'd devoured the 30th tablet? Longao was certain that aside from himself and a few others, no one else knew that he'd devoured the 13th tablet. Do you have any proof? No proof. But Longao, I can bet with you that my guess is absolutely correct. If you don't believe me, I'll prove it in the future. Luo Mu didn't seem to be joking. He didn't dwell on this matter. No matter what happened in the future, he could only take one step at a time. Longao, let's not talk about this for now. My tablet has been sealed by the oracle's forbidden power. I can't remove it by myself. I need your help. Ah! Did Luo Mu already know that he could remove the tablet's power? That was impossible. Aside from Xiling and Long Qiong, not even his parents or lover knew about this. If that was the case, how did Luo Mu know? Seeing that Longao didn't answer, Luo Mu smiled and said, "You can't do it now, but that doesn't mean you can't do it in the future. Just promise me and we'll talk about it later. How about it?" So that was it. He was wrong. Nodding, Longao agreed. No problem. If I can do it in the future, I'll definitely help you. Good. It's a promise. It's a promise. Luo Mu got up and left, leaving Longao alone. Ever since the rulers had gathered at the Crystal Palace, things had become very complicated. It seemed that every ruler was looking for him. It seemed that it wasn't just Luo Mu, but the other rulers as well. He was a variable. If the oracle wanted to enter the mysterious place, he had to rely on himself. If that was the case, then he was in big trouble. How should he deal with it? Soaring Dragon Realm. Seeing Longao's serious expression, Longying asked curiously, "Seventh brother, what happened?" "Nothing. There are just some things I can't solve. Big brother, you don't have to worry about me." Even if he told his big brother about the ruler of the stars, he couldn't solve it. Longying knew what to ask and what not to ask. Even if he could break through the Starry Sky Ancestor realm in the future and become the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire, there were still many things he couldn't do in the vast starry sky. He wanted to, but he was powerless. Just do your part well. Seventh brother, the empire has been developing steadily. At this rate, I am sure that we will encounter the 9 great starry sky empires in 10 years at most. At that time, the 9 great starry sky empires may not be willing. How could Longao not know what his elder brother meant? In the vast starry sky, there were a total of 9 top starry sky empires. They were the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th starry empires. The 9 starry sky empires dominated the entire universe. No one dared to provoke them unless the 12 dominators of the starry sky came in person. Not to mention the current soaring dragon empire. Even the soaring dragon empire, which was 100 times more powerful than the 9 great starry sky empires, was no match for them. He felt helpless. This kind of thing would happen sooner or later. Longao was not surprised at all because he knew very well that the first empire would take action within a year, let alone 10 years. Now, they had already crossed the first empire's bottom line. This was really an urgent matter. He had to think of a way to deal with it as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would not be easy to deal with it. He felt helpless. If Jiu Tian was one of his men, then everything would be different. The empire had a starry sky immortal guarding it. Even the 9 great starry sky empires would not dare to act rashly. However, Jiu Tian was only guarding it and was not one of his men. As for his grandfather, Longao, although he had devoured all the starry sky godsparks, he did not know how long it would take for him to break through to the starry sky immortal realm. Elder brother, how do you plan to deal with it? Longao did not have many ways to deal with this kind of thing. He could only wait and see if his elder brother had a good way to deal with it. Longying thought for a while and said, "Seventh brother, according to the speed of our empire's development, we will encounter the 9 great starry sky empires sooner or later. If we choose to avoid or stop our development, it would not be the best way." Longao did not say anything. It seemed that his elder brother had a plan. As expected. According to my considerations, our empire has the deterrence of senior Jiu Tian and our development speed is very fast. We can develop rapidly and chase after the 9 great starry sky empires in the future. His heart skipped a beat. His elder brother's ambition was not small. He actually wanted to replace the 9 great starry sky empires and enter the 9 great starry sky empires. Others would not even dare to think about it. With the 9 great starry sky empires' strength, who dared to provoke them? Longao did not expect his elder brother to have such an idea. He nodded with a smile and said, "Elder brother, it seems that you have underestimated the 9 great starry sky empires' strength. Unless we can have our own starry sky immortal guarding it in the future, and his strength is at least 10,000 times more than what it is now, only then will we have a chance to shake the 9 great starry sky empires. Otherwise, don't even think about it. It is meaningless." Seventh brother did not agree. Longying was only thinking about it. Of course, he knew that it was a bit far-fetched. However, at this moment, Longao smiled and said, "Elder brother, I support your idea. Since things have already come to this, let's be more daring. You can develop as much as you want and leave the rest to me. I will build a starry sky undead army for you. At that time, you can expand at the fastest speed. Even if you encounter the 9 great starry sky empires, it will be fine." Longying thought that his idea would not get his 7th brother's support. After all, this idea was a bit too exaggerated. Not to mention his 7th brother, even he himself felt that it was a far-fetched idea. But what was the result? Longying never thought that his idea would get his 7th brother's support. In fact, Longying did not know that Longao was a madman. Even without his suggestion, he would have chased after the 9 great starry sky empires in the future and lead the soaring dragon empire to become the strongest in the vast starry sky. It was just that this matter was brought forward. "Seventh brother, leave the rest to me." Longao nodded. If the words of the 2 brothers were to spread out, it would probably shock everyone. After all, this idea and method was a bit too crazy. Fighting against the 9 great starry sky empires, these 2 were probably unprecedented. In the following time, Longao prepared to fully refine the starry sky undead army. Chapter 2268. The corpse demons refined by the primal chaos palace and the corpse demons refined by the dragon seal space were 2 different concepts. The current dragon seal had become the primal chaos seal. The corpse demons refined by the primal chaos palace were immortal. Longao could even say that the corpse demons refined by the primal chaos palace could not be completely destroyed, not to mention others. As for whether the 12 rulers of Starry Sky could be destroyed, it was still unknown. Whether it could be destroyed or not, he would know with a try. Longao, what are you doing? Xiling, I believe you know about the corpse demons I refined. He nodded. Xiling did not know what Longao meant. Why did he suddenly mention the corpse demons? He smiled mysteriously. Xiling, I want you to try and see if you can destroy the corpse demons I refined. Ah! What did he mean? He was confused. Xiling certainly knew what Longao meant, but he was overestimating himself. Longao, aren't you a bit too arrogant? Xiling admitted that the corpse demons refined by Longao were indeed powerful. They were far more powerful than the corpse demons refined by Longmye. But he could not destroy them. Wasn't that a bit too ridiculous? How was that possible? Who was he? He was a genuine sword intent ruler of Starry Sky. Even if he had not refined the primal chaos stone tablet and become a ruler of Starry Sky, he should be able to destroy a corpse demon. Xiling, you can try. I am not completely sure. I just refined a level 7 corpse demon. What do you think of its power? Okay, I want to try. Xiling knew Longao's character very well. Since Longao was like this, he must not be talking nonsense. Could it be that the corpse demons refined were really different? Longao summoned a corpse demon from the primal chaos palace. It was only a level 7 corpse demon and started to attack Xiling. Under normal circumstances, even if Xiling's cultivation base had not recovered to the Starry Sky ruler level, it was still possible for him to destroy the Starry Sky Corpse slaves. At the very least, the Starry Sky Corpse slaves he had refined previously would not be able to withstand Xiling's attacks. But now, Xiling could not truly destroy the Starry Sky Corpse slave. He could only knock it down. Longao, is this true? Would you be able to destroy him if you were a ruler of the Starry Sky? He was overjoyed. It seemed like his guess was right. The corpse slaves refined in the primal chaos palace were immortal. They were truly immortal. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. Even the Starry Sky ruler couldn't achieve immortality, but the Starry Sky corpse demon he refined could. Longao, I can tell you this very responsibly. Even if I refine the primal chaos stone tablet and restore my cultivation to the Starry Sky ruler level, I still won't be able to destroy this Starry Sky corpse demon. As expected. He was pleasantly surprised. This Starry Sky corpse demon's attack might not be much, but its defense is truly abnormal. This kind of power seems to be above mine. It seems. He wanted to say something but stopped. It seemed like he had something to say. Longao was extremely anxious. He couldn't wait to ask, seems like what? Longao valued his Starry Sky corpse demon very much. He knew very well what it meant if he could refine such an undead army. Longao, look. At this moment, Xiling summoned the sword intent primal chaos stone tablet from his body. He tried to release the power of the sword intent primal chaos stone tablet. The power is so similar. He didn't know if he didn't sense it. He was shocked when he sensed it. Just as Xiling said, the power of the primal chaos stone tablet was very similar to the power of the Starry Sky corpse demon. This time, even Longao was completely confused. Longao, you haven't refined the primal chaos stone tablet. Perhaps you don't know that even if the 12 of us refined the primal chaos stone tablet, we still wouldn't be able to truly control the power within. What does that mean? He didn't know what Xiling meant. If they had refined the primal chaos stone tablet, why couldn't they control the power within? He sighed deeply. Xiling said helplessly, Longao, the other Starry Sky rulers should be in the same situation as me. Ever since I refined the primal chaos stone tablet, I've been trying to truly merge with the power within, but I've been unable to do so. I can clearly sense just how terrifying the power within the primal chaos stone tablet is. If I could truly control it, even destroying the entire universe would be a matter of minutes. My God. In the vast universe, apart from you, there is no one else who can shatter the universe. They can even compress it. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, this is the true reason why the Oracle chose you. Even you can't do it. We can't do it either. So, you can imagine how shocked I was when I saw that you could shatter the starry skies and compress the cracks in the starry skies. With our strength alone, we can't do it. But I have a feeling that the true power of the Chaos Stone Tablet might be able to do it. This really was a shocking secret. Longao had always believed that the 12 starry sky rulers would definitely be able to shatter the universe. It seemed that he had been overthinking things. It seemed that Xiling's guess was correct. The Oracle really had chosen him for this. Xiling, I have a guess. What guess? I've been thinking about something for a long time. In the vast universe, perhaps there are more than 12 primal Chaos Stone Tablets. The primal Chaos Stone Tablet I obtained is the best example. Perhaps there are many more. His face was filled with shock. Because Xiling had never thought of this before. Everyone knew that there were 12 primal Chaos Stone Tablets in the vast universe. The 5 elements Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Devouring Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Lightning Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Space Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Time Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Destruction Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Samsara Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Slaughter Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Divination Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Sword Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the Indestructible Tyrant Body Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, and the Darkness Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Besides these, there were no other Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. However, although the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet Longao obtained didn't have any attributes, it really was a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. If Longao hadn't said it himself, and if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he really would have found it hard to believe that there really was a 13th Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in the vast universe. If that was really the case, then if there was a 13th Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in the vast universe, didn't that mean that there were other Primal Chaos Stone Tablets as well? The 14th Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, the 15th Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, or even the 16th Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Chapter 2269. Longao, maybe it's just as you guessed. There are other Chaos Tablets in the vast universe. It's just that we haven't discovered them yet. Although it was hard to accept, it wasn't impossible. Xiling seemed to have thought of something. Longao, your Primal Chaos Palace actually refined a Starry Sky Corpse slave with the power of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Then your Primal Chaos Palace. Longao was very clear about what Xiling meant. The Chaos Palace is indeed very mysterious. I haven't truly grasped it yet. When I do, it might be the day when the truth comes out. What are you going to do next? Refine a corpse slave army. Now that he had confirmed that the corpse slaves were immortal, what he had to do next was to refine a corpse slave army as soon as possible. The more he refined, the better it would be for the Empire. How many corpse slaves are you going to refine? The current Longao was no longer the same as before. He was a titled world emperor and had many experts to help him. It would be a piece of cake for him to refine a corpse slave army. Although the average Starry Sky corpse slave has an immortal body, its attack power is too weak. It's useless. This was the key point. This was also Longao's biggest headache. Ordinary Starry Sky corpse slaves were useless, and powerful ones were very hard to find. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Xiling said, Longao, you have to remember this. Water can carry a boat, but it can also sink it. Even if the weak corpse slaves are useless, once there are enough of them, they can kill an elephant. That's right. In the following time, Longao did not hesitate at all. He left the Soaring Dragon domain alone and began to refine the Starry Sky Corpse demons on a large scale. It didn't matter if it was a cultivator or a beast. As long as he met someone who wasn't a good person, he would kill them all. Longao didn't kill the innocent. This was his bottom line. Longao's speed in refining the corpse demon was extremely fast because the Primal Chaos Hall could refine the corpse demon in a matter of minutes. In a short span of a month, Longao had already refined over 1 million Starry Sky corpse slaves. Seventh brother, you want me to speed up the expansion? Long Ying was shocked. During this period of time, he had been devouring the strength of the heaven-devouring empire. It was no laughing matter. This speed of annexation was already very fast. If they continued to speed up, the empire's forces wouldn't be able to keep up. No matter what, the soaring dragon empire had just been established. Even at the current rate of expansion, they were already unable to keep up. Longying really couldn't figure out what was going on with seventh brother after not seeing him for a month. Why did they suddenly increase the speed of their expansion? Big brother, I have already refined an army of over 1 million corpses. Therefore, I can continue to expand, and it will be an endless expansion. He was overjoyed. Others might not know, but how could Longying not know the significance of Longao refining a starry sky corpse demon? Seventh brother, I understand. Longao handed over the 1 million corpse demons to Big Brother. As for himself, he continued to refine more corpses. Longao only had one goal, and that was to refine an army of tens of millions of corpses. At that time, even if the 9 great starry sky empires came, he wouldn't be afraid. However, other than refining corpses, there was another important thing, and that was to increase his strength. Longao knew very well that even if his cultivation had successfully broken through to the titled Universe Emperor, it wouldn't help. In the vast starry sky, his strength was nothing. Above the titled Universe Emperor, there were Starry Sky Universe Masters, titled Universe Masters, Starry Sky Universe Emperors, titled Universe Emperors, Starry Sky Universe Ancestors, titled Universe Ancestors. Above them were Starry Sky Almighties, Starry Sky Legends, and Starry Sky Immortals. He still had a long way to go. Therefore, he had to increase his cultivation to the Starry Sky Universe Master as soon as possible. It was easy to say, but it was extremely difficult to do. In the Chaos Palace. Now that Long Qiong and Violet Spirit had both left the Primal Chaos Palace, no matter what, the power within the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets that the two of them possessed had been completely removed. Because of this, there was no need for them to continue staying in the Chaos Palace. Moreover, Longao gradually realized that no matter who it was, even if it was Xiling and Long Qiong, they couldn't stay in the Chaos Palace for more than 3 months. Otherwise, the power of the Chaos Palace could completely erode Xiling and Long Qiong. Xiling was extremely shocked by this. This was because Xiling had never thought that the Chaos Palace would be so powerful that it could erode him. Even the Chaos Stone Tablets didn't seem to have any resistance. Violet Spirit had full confidence in her own primal Chaos Steely. As long as the Chaos Stone Tablets didn't leave his body, he would be immortal. Not to mention others, even the marvelous mathematician might not be able to destroy him. However, the Chaos Palace could. Xiling could even imagine that if other Starry Sky rulers entered the Chaos Palace, wouldn't they die without a doubt? Xiling even suspected that if the marvelous mathematician entered the Chaos Palace, he wouldn't even know if he could survive. In the Chaos Palace, Longao had been trying to summon the power to see if he could borrow the power to break through to the Starry Sky Universe Master level. He was extremely depressed. Although he had obtained the Chaos Palace, he didn't really control it. Therefore, he couldn't summon the power in the Chaos Palace. In this way, it was almost impossible to borrow the power to break through to the Starry Sky Universe Master level. Under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be easy for him to break through the final bottleneck. After all, the higher he went, the harder it was to break through. However, Longao didn't want to give up. He continued to stay in the Chaos Palace, hoping that he would be lucky. If the mysterious power appeared, he could devour it to break through. With the help of millions of Starry Sky Corp slaves, Longying immediately began to expand wildly. If it were a newly established Starry Sky Empire, no one would pay attention to it. Only the soaring Dragon Empire. Millions of Starry Sky Corp slaves with immortal bodies. How could any Starry Sky Empire withstand such a terrifying existence? Just like that, the soaring Dragon Empire's crazy expansion speed became faster and faster. In just a month's time, the surrounding 8 Starry Sky realms were all destroyed by the soaring Dragon Empire. Since then, the strength of the soaring Dragon Empire had expanded by 10 times. What kind of concept was that? Although they were angry, They didn't dare to speak out. Although they knew that the Soaring Dragon Empire's actions would cause trouble, an ordinary Starry Sky Empire wouldn't dare to take action. Chapter 2270. The Soaring Dragon Empire's crazy expansion caused the surrounding realms that had not yet been annexed to feel insecure. No one knew when the Soaring Dragon Empire would be implicated. An army of millions of Starry Sky Corps slaves with undying bodies was a little too terrifying. Why haven't the 9 great Starry Sky Empires made a move yet? No one could figure it out. Under normal circumstances, if a Starry Sky Empire dared to expand like this, the 9 great Starry Sky Empires would have already taken action. How could they wait until now? But now, the 9 great Starry Sky Empires were still unwilling to take action. What had happened? Could it be that they were afraid of the Starry Sky Immortals and Starry Sky Legends in the Soaring Dragon Empire? The fact that the Soaring Dragon Empire had Starry Sky Immortals and Starry Sky Legends was still unknown. However, everyone was very clear that if the Soaring Dragon Empire did not have a Starry Sky Immortal or Starry Sky Legend, it would indeed be a troublesome matter. Everyone was very clear what Starry Sky Undying and Starry Sky Legend meant. Not to mention others, even the 9 great Starry Sky Empires wouldn't casually provoke a Starry Sky Undying and a Starry Sky Legend. Was it real or not? He wasn't sure. This could be considered extremely depressing. After annexing 8 regions, the speed of the Soaring Dragon Empire did not slow down at all. Instead, it continued to expand in all directions. At this rate, the Soaring Dragon Empire would become the 10th Starry Sky Empire in less than 10 years. Could it be that the 9 great Starry Sky Empires were really going to watch the rise of the Soaring Dragon Empire? There was still no movement. The 9 Starry Sky Empires didn't move at all. They were all looking at each other to see if the other Starry Sky Empires would make a move. If they were to provoke the Soaring Dragon Empire now, they would definitely start a war. If they were to anger a Starry Sky Immortal, even if they could destroy the Soaring Dragon Empire, they would definitely suffer heavy losses. If that was the case, wouldn't that give him a chance to take advantage of the situation? The 9 grand Starry Sky Empires were not fools. Without full assurance, no one would be willing to make a move. On this day, Jian Wudi rushed to the Soaring Dragon realm in a hurry. When he saw Longao, he said impatiently, "Brother Long, we are in big trouble now." What happened? Longao was very curious. He did not know what had happened and why Jian Wudi was so anxious. "Brother Long, there's something you don't know. Right now, the number 1 empire is divided into 2 factions. One faction is unwilling to take action against you. However, the other faction is determined to destroy you. They say that you're disregarding the number 1 empire." He was not surprised at all. Ever since he had annexed the Heaven-Devouring Empire, Longao had predicted that something like this would happen. The Heaven-Devouring Empire had already become a vassal empire of the First Empire. Yet, the First Empire had still taken over the Heaven-Devouring Empire. Just this point alone was enough to make the First Empire unable to tolerate it. He didn't care at all. Seeing that Longao did not take this matter to heart, Jian Wudi was completely flustered. Could it be that Longao really did not put the First Empire in his eyes? Up until now, Jian Wudi still didn't know about the relationship between Xiling and Long Qiong. If he had known, he probably wouldn't have thought so. However, Longao would not casually reveal their identities, including Jian Wudi's. This matter could be big or small. "Brother Jian, come with me." Jian Wudi was very curious, but he still followed Longao out of the hall. Back Mountain. Fox Demon. Looking at Linghu Yarrow in front of him, Jian Wudi was completely stunned. He did not know what had happened and why Linghu Yarrow would appear here. Wasn't Linghu Yarrow and Longao enemies? If that was the case, how could the 2 of them be together and still be fine? "Brother Jian, long time no see. This is..." Linghu Yarrow smiled and said, "The Black Mountain Old Demon is dead. From today onwards, I'll be following Longao to conquer the world." Huh! Hearing Linghu Yarrow's words, Jian Wudi was completely stunned. Was this for real? Linghu Yarrow had actually chosen to submit to Longao? Was this for real? Was this for real? Was this for real? Jian Wudi asked himself repeatedly in his heart. However, he knew very well that this was definitely not fake. How in the world did Longao do it? Why would Linghu Yarrow choose to submit to Longao? This was really unbelievable. If other people had chosen to submit to Longao, it would be fine. However, Linghu Yarrow had chosen to submit. This was really unbelievable. Others might not know, but Jian Wudi was very clear about Linghu Yarrow's identity. A starry sky legend. His cultivation had already recovered to the level of starry sky ancestor. In the future, Linghu Yarrow would definitely become a starry sky legend. Jian Wudi knew better than anyone what it meant to become a starry sky legend. How could such a super expert willingly submit to Longao? He would rather be beaten to death than believe that this was real. Brother Long, what happened? Nothing. Linghu Yarrow and I hit it off at first sight. That's why he chose to stay in the Soaring Dragon Empire. Would Jian Wudi believe it? Of course not. However, Jian Wudi knew that Longao and Linghu Yarrow were not willing to talk about this. Since that was the case, what was the point of continuing to ask? What was going on? The more he thought about it, the more incredulous he felt. Longao was too powerful to be able to subdue Linghu Yarrow. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. Jian Wudi sighed helplessly. Longao was too mysterious. Jian Wudi smiled bitterly and said, "Brother Long, you really amaze me. It has only been a few months since we last met and your cultivation has increased again. Congratulations. Titled World Emperor." Jian Wudi also did not expect that Longao's cultivation would reach the level of a titled World Emperor in just a few months. This cultivation speed was too terrifying. Jian Wudi was a titled Universe Master. He knew very well what Longao's cultivation speed meant. If this situation continued, Longao's strength would catch up with his sooner or later, and it would not be far. Although Jian Wudi was happy that Longao was able to reach the level of a titled World Emperor in such a short time, he could not help but sigh. Longao's cultivation speed was too fast. On the other hand, he was still unable to reach the level of a Starry Sky Realm Emperor after so many years. Did he really have to devour the Starry Sky Godhood in order to increase his strength? Jian Wudi was not willing to devour the Starry Sky Godhood unless it was absolutely necessary. This was because everyone knew that once a Starry Sky Godhood was devoured, it would be much more difficult to reach a higher level in the future. "Brother Jian, why don't you stay for a few more days?" "Yes, my master will come later. He wants to meet you. I will wait here for him." Chapter 2271. Master. According to Jian Wudi, his master was called Zhao Chong, a Starry Sky Almighty. He was famous even in the First Empire. A Starry Sky Immortal was almost a legendary existence. A Starry Sky legend would not appear under normal circumstances. That was why Longao knew what a Starry Sky Almighty meant. "Brother Jian, forgive me for asking, but why has your master come here this time?" Longao was very clear that although he and Jian Wudi were friends, as for whether Zhao Chong was an enemy or a friend, it was still unknown. He seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. Jian Wudi smiled and said, "Brother Long, my master is here to meet you. He has no other intentions and will not become your enemy." Longao smiled. If Zhao Chong was his enemy, Jian Wudi would not be so calm. 3 days later. As expected, Zhao Chong came. He was an old man with a benevolent look on his face. "You are Longao?" "Yes." He was neither servile nor overbearing. If it were anyone else, they would have flattered a Starry Sky Almighty. Only Longao. Zhao Chong seemed to admire him. He smiled and said, "I heard about you from Jian Wudi. You are indeed someone." "Longao, I want to ask, is there really a Starry Sky legend and a Starry Sky Immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire?" What did he mean? Was he here to find out? Longao knew that the First Empire was not willing to act not because they were afraid of him, but because they were afraid of Jiu Tian and Jian Wudi. Jian Wudi shook his head helplessly. He did not know what his master meant. The only thing he could be sure of was that his master would never become Longao's enemy. That's right. Zhao Chong seemed shocked because he knew what a starry sky legend and a starry sky immortal meant. If that was the case, the Empire would not be willing to act casually. No one was willing to provoke a starry sky immortal. I see. Before coming, Zhao Chong was sure that there was a starry sky immortal in the Soaring Dragon Empire. First, Jian Wudi had already told him that there was a starry sky immortal overseeing the Soaring Dragon Empire. Secondly, since the Soaring Dragon Empire dared to disregard the First Empire, they must be fearless. Otherwise, how could the Soaring Dragon Empire dare to do so? Senior, may I know why you're here this time? Getting straight to the point, Longao did not like to dilly-dally. Even if Zhao Chong wasn't an enemy, he was definitely not a friend. If it hadn't been for Jian Wudi, Longao believed that what would have happened between him and Zhao Chong would have been unknown. Zhao Chong also smiled. Longao, do you know what the First Empire will think if you do this? Please speak. Here comes the main topic. Longao also wanted to hear what Zhao Chong was here for. Longao, if the Soaring Dragon Empire wants to expand, there's no problem in becoming the #1 empire. However, since you've annexed the heaven-devouring empire, it means that you don't put the #1 empire in your eyes. Do you know what the First Empire is? Of course he knew. In the vast universe, the 9 great starry sky empires were the strongest existences, especially the First Empire, which was the leader of the 9 great starry sky empires. With the current strength of the Soaring Dragon Empire, there was no doubt that they were no match for the First Empire. What did Zhao Chong mean? He couldn't figure it out. Senior, if you have something to say, just say it. Zhao Chong smiled and said, Longao, I'm here on behalf of myself and the First Empire. The First Empire can let bygones be bygones for your annexation of the heaven-devouring empire, and can even help the Soaring Dragon Empire to develop. What's the condition? Longao was not a fool, of course. He knew that there was no such thing as a free lunch in the world. The First Empire would not help him and the Soaring Dragon Empire casually, unless there was something wrong with their heads. How could the First Empire be so kind? Longao did not believe it, and neither did Jian Wudi. The condition is simple: as long as the Soaring Dragon Empire is willing to become a subsidiary empire of the First Empire. So that's it. Longao knew what the First Empire meant. If the Soaring Dragon Empire became a subsidiary empire of the First Empire, there was no doubt that the Soaring Dragon Empire would become cannon fodder in the future. Once the 9 great starry sky empires went to war, the Soaring Dragon Empire would be the first to suffer. If he agreed, he would be a fool. Longao smiled and shook his head, saying, When I first established the Soaring Dragon Empire, I never thought that one day my empire would submit to any other empire, including the 9 great starry sky empires and the First Empire. Do you understand what I mean? How could he not understand? His expression changed slightly. He had seen arrogant people before, but he had never seen such an arrogant person. If it were other people, no matter how unhappy or unhappy they were, they would have chosen to submit due to the power of the First Empire. Only Longao, was it because the Soaring Dragon Empire had Starry Sky Immortal and Starry Sky Legend overseeing it? Longao, do you think that just because the Soaring Dragon Empire has Star Immortals and Star Legends, you can ignore the first Starry Sky Empire? Although Star Immortals were powerful, it was a bit of nonsense to compete with the First Empire. To be able to dominate the vast Starry Sky, the first Starry Sky Empire's power was not just for show. Senior, you are Brother Jian's master. That's why I'm giving you some face. If it were anyone else, even if they were a legend of the Starry Sky, they wouldn't be able to leave alive if they dared to step into my territory. His expression changed. Before Zhao Chong could speak, Jian Wudi spoke first, Brother Long waving his hand. Longao stopped Jian Wudi from continuing. Jian Wudi was completely dumbfounded. He never thought that Longao would do this. Longao did not give face to his master at all. Although he felt that his master had gone a little too far, his master was still a powerful figure in the Starry Sky. He still had his pride. If it were not for him, his master would have taken action long ago. Why would he wait until now? What did Longao mean? What did his master mean? Jian Wudi was helpless because he found that he could not get a word in. It did not matter, but he was afraid that the two would take action. If that was the case, what should he do? Which side should he help? On one side was his master, and on the other side was Longao. No matter what choice he made, he was in a dilemma. Longao, aren't you a bit too arrogant? Jian Wudi's expression changed again and again, but he knew very well that if the star legends or star immortals in the Soaring Dragon Empire took action, it would be difficult for him to leave here. It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid, but he knew very well that Longao would not dare to take action. Chapter 2272. Zhao Chong knew very well that if Longao dared to make a move, he would have done so long ago. In the end, Zhao Chong was still very afraid. Because he had heard of Longao's arrogance. Back then, he was only a level 8 Starry Sky cultivator, but he dared to fight against the devouring Heaven Empire and eventually destroyed it. If he had not heard it with his own ears, it would have been hard to believe. The most depressed one was Jian Wudi. Looking at the two at daggers drawn, Jian Wudi had a headache. He hoped that the two would not start a war. Longao, even if the First Empire does not deal with you, the other 8 Starry Skies will not let you go. The best place for you now is to submit to the First Empire. Only then can you develop steadily. I won't see you out. An eviction order. Longao directly ordered the guest to leave, giving Jian Wudi a fright. As a Starry Sky cultivator, his master was high and mighty no matter where he went. When had he ever been humiliated like this? If it were someone else, his master would have made a move long ago. Why would he wait until now? As expected. Hearing Longao's eviction order, Zhao Chong's face instantly turned gloomy and ugly. Longao did not take him seriously at all. Make a move. Zhao Chong was not a reckless person. He knew very well that if he made a move at this time, he would be the one to suffer in the end. Until now, he was not sure whether there was a Starry Sky Immortal or a Starry Sky Legend in the Soaring Dragon Empire. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the Soaring Dragon Empire really had a Starry Sky Legend or a Starry Sky Immortal, what should he do? A Starry Sky Cultivator was a joke in front of a Starry Sky Legend or a Starry Sky Immortal. He did not dare to act rashly. Zhao Chong had some concerns. Longao was so calm, he must have something to rely on. Otherwise, Longao would not be so arrogant. Master, why don't we leave first? Jian Wudi was extremely worried. Others might not know, but he definitely knew. Even if Jiyu Tian and Yi Ji would not make a move casually, their master had threatened the safety of the Soaring Dragon Empire. In this case, they would definitely make a move. At that time, would their master be able to contend against a Starry Sky Immortal or a Starry Sky Legend? Zhao Chong's face changed again and again. In the end, Zhao Chong still chose to compromise, because he was still unsure if the two super experts of the Soaring Dragon Empire would make a move at that time. Brother Long, my apologies. It's not your fault. Jian Wudi sighed deeply and didn't say anything else. He didn't know what to say either. Looking at the two people gradually disappearing into the distance. Long Ying, who was sitting at the side, said worriedly, "Seventh brother, Zhao Chong is obviously here with the intention of the First Empire. If nothing goes wrong, the First Empire will probably deal with us." How could Longao not know what his elder brother meant? This was also what he was worried about. If the First Empire were to make a move at this time, the Soaring Dragon Empire would definitely not be able to withstand it. What should he do? Longao knew one thing, and that was that the two overseers of the empire were practically useless. Jiyu Tian had already made it very clear that he would only protect the empire, and he wouldn't ask about the expansion of the empire. Moreover, it was the number one empire that was going to make a move this time, so Jiyu Tian and Yi Ji might not dare to make a move. What a troublesome matter. Elder brother, in your opinion, what should we do now? This was the most crucial matter, because no one knew when the First Empire would make a move. It might be tomorrow, a month later, or 10 years later. Long Ying's expression was also very solemn. After thinking for a while, she said, "Seventh brother, I don't need to say more about the strength of the First Starry Sky Empire. I believe you should know better than me. If we were to meet force with force, we wouldn't have the slightest chance. Therefore, we can only use our wits and not force. Avoid the battle? Yes, avoid the battle." Starry Sky Legends and Starry Sky Immortals wouldn't casually make a move. As long as the First Starry Sky Empire comes, we won't be afraid. At that time, we might be able to borrow the First Empire's strength to rise. Longao smiled. Ever since his elder brother became the Emperor of the Empire, he seemed to have changed into a different person. "I'll leave this matter to you. Before the First Starry Sky Empire makes a move, I'll use all my strength to refine more Starry Sky Corps slaves." The Starry Sky Corps slave army was the only thing that the Soaring Dragon Empire could take out. It was also the only army that could defeat the First Starry Sky Empire. However, relying on millions of Starry Sky Corps slaves was far from enough. This time, Longao didn't care about anything else and began to refine more Starry Sky Corps slaves. Gradually, Longao was shocked to find that the more Starry Sky Corps slaves he refined, the more his cultivation base could be improved. What's going on? This discovery made Longao pleasantly surprised. If this was the case, he could refine Starry Sky Corps slaves while cultivating at the same time. It was the best of both worlds. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao's speed of refining the Starry Sky Corps slaves became faster and faster. In just a few days, an army of hundreds of thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves was once again refined. Even so, Longao did not stop at all and continued to refine with all his strength. One more was one more. Just 10 days after the refining, Longao's cultivation base successfully broke through from the titled World Emperor to the Starry Sky World Master. When they came back and saw it, Shenteng and the others were completely shocked. In just a few days, Longao's cultivation base had broken through again and was directly promoted to the Starry Sky World Master. Was this for real? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Such a cultivation speed was a bit too exaggerated. Shenteng and the others were simply shocked. They had seen people with fast cultivation speed, but they had never seen anyone with such a fast cultivation speed. Not to mention ordinary people. Even the reincarnation of an expert might not be able to do this. How did Longao do it? The four even suspected that Longao was very likely the reincarnation of an expert, but he didn't know it. The four of them went straight to Longao. Shenteng went straight to the point and said, "Longao, the four of us can't wait any longer. Please help us break through." How could Longao not know what the four of them meant? After thinking for a while, he said with a smile, "I have a way to help you break through and become truly immortal. We don't want to become Starry Sky Corps slaves." The four of them certainly knew what Longao meant. They had seen the Starry Sky Corps slaves refined by Longao with their own eyes. The immortal body was really hard to match. With such a powerful army of Starry Sky Corps slaves, it would be a piece of cake to destroy the heaven-devouring empire. Chapter 2273. If he did not refine a Starry Sky Corps slave, how could he improve their strength? Regarding this point, Longao was also rather helpless. If there was a chance, he would be willing to help them improve their strength. However, the four of them had already sworn a blood oath, so they were considered his people. The stronger they were, the better it would be for him. "Is it okay if you four devour Starry Sky God Sparks?" The fastest and most effective way was to devour Starry Sky God Sparks. The four did not hesitate and answered in unison, "No problem." They had thought it through. As long as they could devour Starry Sky God Sparks, it would be a good thing. In fact, Longao did not know. Among the four, except for Che Yaman, the other three had devoured Starry Sky God Sparks. Therefore, it would be more difficult for them to continue to break through. "Let me think about it." After the four left, Longao looked very dignified. With the breakthrough of his cultivation to Starry Sky Universe Master, Longao was full of confidence. With his current strength, it would be easy for him to kill a Starry Sky Universe Master. It would be a matter of minutes to find 4 Starry Sky God Sparks for the 4. Even if Che Yaman agreed, he believed that Xiling would not agree. Xiling had decided to take Che Yaman with him on the path of sword principle. He believed that with Che Yaman's talent and Xiling's training, it would not take long for Che Yaman's cultivation to improve greatly. Longao stood up and left the soaring dragon realm with the help of the space transfer formation. One day later, Longao returned with 3 Starry Sky Universe Master Sparks and handed them to Chen Chen and the other 2. With the help of the Starry Sky God Sparks, the 3 of them would soon break through to Starry Sky Universe Master. The 3 of them were extremely surprised and glad that they had chosen to submit to Longao. If they did not, they would not be able to break through to Starry Sky Universe Master and survive. The 3 of them did not hesitate and immediately devoured the Starry Sky God Sparks to break through. When Xiling returned, there was no doubt that Che Yaman immediately became his disciple. Since she had become his disciple, Xiling did not hide anything and told Che Yaman his identity. Che Yaman was shocked to the extreme. Che Yaman had never imagined that her master would be the legendary Starry Sky Ruler, the Sword Intent Starry Sky Ruler. Che Yaman didn't have the slightest doubt because she knew very well that her master didn't need to deceive her. He was very grateful to Longao. If it weren't for Longao, how could he have taken the Starry Sky Ruler as his master? She knew very well what it meant to be the ruler of the stars. In the vast starry sky, there were 12 dominators of the starry sky. They were the dominator of the 5-element starry sky, the dominator of the devouring starry sky, the dominator of the lightning starry sky, the dominator of the space starry sky, the dominator of the time starry sky, the dominator of the destruction starry sky, the dominator of the reincarnation starry sky, the dominator of the slaughter starry sky, the dominator of the divination starry sky, the dominator of the sword will starry sky, the dominator of the indestructible dominator of the starry sky, and the dominator of the darkness starry sky. His master was the sword will starry sky dominator. If he followed such a powerhouse, it was easy to imagine what kind of realm he would reach in the future. Back Mountain. Longao, do you know where I've been these past few days? He shook his head. Longao didn't know where Xiling had gone, nor did he know what had happened. Xiling smiled and said, Longao, as the sword will starry sky ruler, I can be said to be the ancestor of all swords in the vast starry sky. You should know this. Longao nodded again. Of course, he knew what Xiling meant. The ancestor of all swords, as the sword will starry sky ruler, Xiling could command all the Genling in the vast starry sky. What did that mean? Longao was a little curious. He didn't know what Xiling meant. Longao, this time I went out, I brought back tens of millions of Genling for you. Huh. Longao knew very well what Xiling meant. Tens of millions of Genling could be compared to tens of millions of corpse slaves in the starry sky. Longao, the Genling I brought back for you can be formed into a sword array. It can even kill a starry sky immortal. Longao was completely stunned. If that was the case, unless the 12 starry sky rulers came in person, the soaring dragon empire could ignore anyone, including starry sky immortals. Thank you. Don't worry. For the time being, the starry sky rulers won't deal with you, so you have enough time to develop your empire. If nothing unexpected happens, the 9 great starry sky empires will deal with you. With the help of the sword array, you should know what to do. The power of the sword array could be imagined. It could kill a starry sky immortal. In this case, even if it was the number 1 starry sky empire, he wouldn't be afraid. Under such circumstances, they could expand as much as they wanted. Xiling was quite straightforward. He handed over all the Genling to Longao. However, Longao didn't take over, because the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire was still his big brother. Not only the Genling, but also the corpse slaves. Longao handed them over to Long Ying. This way, even if he wasn't in the Soaring Dragon Empire, he could still ensure the safety of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Long Ying, who had obtained the sword spirit, was pleasantly surprised. A sword formation that could kill a starry sky immortal. She knew what it meant. With such a heaven-defying sword formation, the Empire would be invincible. At that time, even if all 9 great starry sky empires came, she wouldn't be afraid. Big brother, don't spread the news about the sword array. It's our empire's biggest trump card. Long Ying was very clear about his 7th brother's meaning. Although the empire had the protection of the sword array and the corpse slaves, 2 fists couldn't fight 4 hands. If the 9 great starry sky empires knew about this, they might join forces to deal with the empire. If that was the case, it would be difficult for the empire to deal with them. There was no need for that. Thinking of this, Long Ying smiled and said, "You're right. I know what to do. But 7th brother, if we don't leak the news, it won't be a good thing if the number 1 starry sky empire goes to war with us. It won't be good for us if the other empires take advantage of the situation." Yes, that's true. 7th brother, according to my guess, the number 1 starry sky empire sent Zhao Chong to test us. In the end, the number 1 starry sky empire isn't fully confident. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done this. Longao didn't say anything because he knew that his big brother must have something else to say. Sure enough. That's right. 7th brother, we can spread the news appropriately. This way, the number 1 starry sky empire won't dare to act rashly. We will also have time to develop and avoid others taking advantage of us. What do you think? Chapter 2274. I'll leave it to you. Longao did not ask about the rest. He believed in his elder brother's abilities. If he interfered, it would not be worth it. Now that he had become a Starry Sky Universe Master, his next task was to do everything he could to become a titled Universe Master. It was a pain in the ass to wait for the mysterious power in the Chaos Hall. Because Longao did not know when the mysterious power in the Primal Chaos stage would appear. What if he had to wait for tens of thousands of years? The only way now was to continue to refine Starry Sky Corps slaves. Only then could he become a titled Universe Master in the shortest time possible. He continued to refine Starry Sky Corps slaves. In a place not far from the soaring dragon realm. Zhao Chong's face was gloomy and as ugly as it could get. Because Zhao Chong never thought that Longao would be so arrogant, to the point that he didn't even put him in his eyes. Not to mention the soaring dragon empire, even in the First Empire, his position was very high. A Starry Sky Mighty was considered to be at the top of the martial Dao pyramid. Jian Wudi also had a helpless look on his face. He had not expected things to turn out this way. On one side was his master, and on the other side was Longao. He did not know how to choose. He felt helpless. Jian Wudi sighed deeply and said helplessly, "Master, Brother Long is a good person." And Jian Wudi didn't hide anything about Ling Hu Yao. He told her everything from beginning to end. Zhao Chong's face changed when he heard the story. He didn't expect that Ling Hu Yao was actually a legend of the Starry Sky. The most shocking thing was that Ling Hu Yao had actually chosen to submit to Longao. If his disciple hadn't said it himself, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. "Wudi, do you know the reason?" Jian Wudi knew what his master meant. He shook his head and said, "No." Jian Wudi could not figure out why the fox demon would choose to submit to Longao out of the blue. What was the reason for that? He could not figure it out. He really could not figure it out. Wudi, Longao ignored the First Empire and took over the heaven-devouring empire. "Do you think the First Empire will let him go?" "I won't." How could Jian Wudi not know about this? This was also the reason why he was helpless. He sincerely regarded Longao as a friend. Of course, he didn't want anything to happen to his friend. However, the strength of the number 1 Starry Sky Empire was there. Longao alone couldn't compete with the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. "Master, you won't make an enemy of Longao, will you?" "I won't." If there weren't any universe legends or universe immortals present, perhaps there would be. But now, he definitely wouldn't. Zhao Chong knew himself well, he definitely couldn't fight against a space legend or space immortal, But that didn't mean the number 1-star empire couldn't. Woody, I know what you mean, but I can tell you clearly that the battle between the First Starry Sky Empire and the Longao is unavoidable. What did Master mean by this? Woody, I know that you have a close relationship with Longao. I can tell you that although I don't like this person very much, his talent and luck are both excellent. If you can stay by his side, you may be able to go further in the future. Zhao Chong was no fool. Even a space legend like Ling Hu Yarrow had chosen to submit to Longao. How could there be nothing fishy about this? Zhao Chong's intuition told him that this was definitely not a simple matter. I understand, Master. Zhao Chong left, but Gen Wudi stayed behind. Although he didn't know what his master meant, he knew very well that his master would never harm him. Longao was also very curious about Gen Wudi's sudden return. He could clearly sense that Zhao Chong didn't have the slightest good impression of him before. Even if Zhao Chong didn't deal with him for Gen Wudi's sake, it was impossible for them to become friends. If that was the case, why had Zhao Chong allowed Gen Wudi to return? Brother Gen, what do you mean by this? Looking at Longao in front of him, Gen Wudi's face was full of ridicule. When he'd first met Longao, Longao had only been a titled realm king. In just a few short months, Longao had become a universe venerable, only one level away from him. If it had been anyone else, Gen Wudi would have been full of confidence. However, when it came to Longao, he didn't have the slightest bit of confidence. Gen Wudi had an intuition that the current him did not seem to be Longao's match at all. Smiling helplessly, Gen Wudi said, "Brother Long, are you willing to take me in?" "What do you mean?" Longao was a little confused because he still didn't know what Gen Wudi meant. Why would he suddenly say such a thing? "Brother Long, to tell you the truth, my master has no intention of being your enemy. He's just conveying the First Empire's message." "I know that." Longao knew very well that Zhao Chong had come this time to test him for the First Empire. If Zhao Chong wanted to deal with him, he wouldn't have come at all. "Brother Gen, if you have something to say, just say it. Our relationship is right here. Why dilly-dally?" Gen Wudi smiled and said, "Brother Long, I've already left the First Empire and officially joined your empire. I don't know if you're willing." My God, Longao was overjoyed. He never thought that Gen Wudi would suddenly make such a choice. "Brother Gen, of course I'm more than happy to have you join the Soaring Dragon Empire. I'm just curious why you suddenly changed your mind. Is it your master's idea?" Longao wasn't a fool. He could see the relationship between Gen Wudi and Zhao Chong. If it wasn't for Zhao Chong's approval, he was almost certain that Gen Wudi wouldn't have made such a decision. Gen Wudi knew that he couldn't hide it. He never thought of hiding it. No matter what, he treated Longao as a true friend. A friend shouldn't hide anything. "Brother Long, your guess is right. It's Master's approval. Although I don't know what Master means, I sincerely want to join the Soaring Dragon Empire. I believe you should know." "Understood." Longao didn't continue to dwell on this issue. It would be superfluous if he said more. He smiled and said, "Brother Gen, your master came here to test me. It seems that even the First Empire can't make a move. In the following time, I'm preparing to expand my forces rapidly. Sooner or later, I'll replace them and lead the Soaring Dragon Empire to dominate the vast starry sky." He was shocked. If someone else said this, Gen Wudi would definitely scoff. Only Longao was special. Gen Wudi knew very well that what others couldn't do didn't mean that Longao couldn't do it. Gen Wudi didn't say much because he didn't know what to say at this time. Chapter 2275. Longao still did not know what Zhao Chong meant. Why did Zhao Chong want Gen Wudi to join the Soaring Dragon Empire? There must be something fishy. Until now, Longao was not sure whether Zhao Chong was a friend or a foe. What should he do if Zhao Chong was playing tricks behind his back? No matter what, Zhao Chong was Gen Wudi's master, and Gen Wudi was his friend. If he was Zhao Chong's enemy, what would Gen Wudi do? It was really a troublesome matter. He did not continue to dwell on this problem. He would deal with it as it came, and take one step at a time. Longao continued to refine the Starry Sky Corp's demons. In the current situation, only by constantly refining the Starry Sky Corp's demons could he break through the current realm in the shortest time. He had successfully broken through to the Starry Sky Universe Master, and was only one step away from becoming a titled Universe Master. This step was easy to say, but extremely difficult to do. Countless Starry Sky Universe Masters were stuck at this stage. However, Longao was not worried at all. Because Longao had never thought that refining the Starry Sky Corp's demons could also improve his strength. Soaring Dragon Realm. Soaring Dragon Peak. Longao came over and looked at the endless void in the distance. No one knew what he was thinking. At this moment, a breeze blew, and Long Ming's figure appeared behind Longao. "You're finally here." Longao was not surprised at all, because he could clearly sense that Long Ming would come sooner or later, because the feud between him and Long Ming would be resolved sooner or later. He did not know whether Long Ming was a friend or a foe. "Brother, how are you?" "Brother?" Longao smiled bitterly and said, "Am I still your brother?" Longao knew very well that Long Ming was no longer his brother after successfully awakening the primordial spirit. "I know that our relationship can no longer be the same as it was in the past, but Longao, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to successfully awaken my soul. I will always remember this kindness. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely return it to you." Longao smiled and did not take this matter to heart. He did not know whether or not he and Long Ming would become troublesome people in the future. No matter what, Long Ming was the ruler of time and space. He sighed deeply. Longao had never thought that Long Ming would be the legendary ruler of the universe. It was unbelievable. How he wished that Long Ming wasn't the ruler of the galaxy, but his good brother. "Longao, I'm here to ask you one last time. Between me and Master God Diviner, who will you choose?" This sentence again. Longao's balls hurt to the extreme. "Long Ming, I've already said that I don't want to interfere in the matters between you two." Longao's meaning was very clear. How could Long Ming not understand? His expression changed again and again. He thought that Longao would give him face, but he never imagined that Longao would reject him again and again. As the ruler of the galaxy, when had he ever been rejected like this? "Longao, Master God Diviner may have the upper hand now, but you should know that the 11 of us are not to be trifled with. In the future, we will definitely be able to eliminate the power of the Chaos Stone Tablet. When that time comes, do you think Master God Diviner will be our match?" Under normal circumstances, Master God Diviner would of course not be able to fight 1 against 10. But under normal circumstances, Longao didn't know why, but he had a feeling that Master God Diviner was not as simple as he thought. Apart from Xiling and Long Qiong, it was unknown whether the others would be able to escape this calamity. "Long Ming, it seems that you really want to force me." "I'm not forcing you, you're forcing yourself. If you don't want to interfere in this matter, I don't blame you, but you must swear a blood oath to me that no matter what happens, you will not act against me. How about it? I won't see you out. Goodbye." Longao took a step forward, and his entire person instantly disappeared without a trace. Looking at Longao's disappearing figure, Long Ming's face was extremely gloomy and ugly. He had forgotten about the brotherhood between them. What he wanted was eternity, which was the so-called fight to the death. The marvelous mathematician was an obstacle. Long Ming wanted to take action several times, but in the end, he restrained himself. If Longao had been alone, it would have been fine. But now, Longao had 2 Starry Sky rulers behind him. Long Ming did not have the slightest confidence that he would be able to take on 2 opponents at once. With Master God Diviner as a big problem, if he provoked 2 rulers, he was afraid that he would be doomed eternally. "Longao, I hope you don't regret this." Soaring Dragon Empire. Back Mountain Forbidden Area. Long Qiong scolded fiercely, "Big brother, Long Ming is an ungrateful wretch. He has repeatedly caused trouble for you. What is he trying to do? If he dares to come again, I will kill him even if it means both of us will suffer." In the past, Long Qiong would not have been qualified to say this. After all, the two of them had different identities and the difference in strength was too great. But now, Long Qiong had devoured the 5 elements chaos tablet. As long as there were no accidents, he would become the new ruler of the 5 elements starry sky. It was still unknown who was stronger between the 5 elements starry sky and the time starry sky. Longao smiled and said, Long Ming is no longer our brother, so there is no need to feel unhappy because of him. I have already made it very clear to him that I will not interfere in the matters between the rulers of the starry sky. If he comes again next time, I will close the door and not see him. Long Qiong knew very well that under such circumstances, it was indeed not appropriate to fall out with Long Ming. Since his big brother had said so, no matter how unhappy Long Qiong was, he could only choose to endure. At this time, Xiling said, Longao, do you feel that something is wrong? Why are the other rulers looking for you? Is it because of Master God Diviner? Continue. Longao knew very well that Xiling was implying something. He had thought about this problem before, and it was indeed a little strange. After all, it might be a coincidence that one ruler was looking for him, but if all of them were looking for him, it was a little too coincidental. According to my guess, if I am not mistaken, this matter should have something to do with Master God Diviner. Think about it. If Master God Diviner did not do this deliberately, why would the other rulers look for you for no reason and pester you? As rulers of the starry sky, they have nothing better to do. Why would they pester you? What a joke. It was not that he did not think of it, but it was indeed the case. What Xiling said made sense. It was very likely that Master God Diviner had arranged this, but Longao could not figure out why Master God Diviner was doing this. Did Master God Diviner want to deal with him? That should not be. If Master God Diviner wanted to deal with him, why would he need to do it himself? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.